What is the biggest scam in today's society? You can make one thing 5% bigger. What do you choose? What is your favorite unsolved mystery? Lars Mittank, German who never made it home, was last seen running out of an airport and climbing the surrounding fence to run into the forest, never to be seen again. That one was so bizarre. The Delphi murders of Libby and Abby. The case really haunts me. Those poor girls did their best they could to give evidence of their murders, and still hasn't been solved. Also, my friends and I used to go mess around on public trails around that age, so it just hits close to home. What happened to Sneha Phillip? She was a doctor who was last seen on September 10, 2001. Because she lived close to the World Trade Center, people speculated that she rushed to the towers to help and died in the collapse. She was officially added to the memorial after a long legal battle, but she also had a pretty troubled personal life and was having marital problems as well. So there was the possibility of foul play. And there are some that believe that she saw an opportunity in the attacks to run from her troubled life and start fresh somewhere else. When I worked at a hotel, this family checked in and were fine for hours. Went out to dinner, and then when they came back, there were cats in their room tearing apart their belongings, and we never figured out how they got in there or stayed hidden for that long. That's my favorite unsolved mystery. Sounds like a pretty fun unsolved mystery. How in the hell is there a subsurface water ocean on Pluto? The Malaysia Airlines flight MH370. Jack the Ripper. What's an animal that, if it wasn't real, would be thought of as a mythical or legendary creature? Surprised no one has mentioned the octopus yet. So super intelligent, unnatural colors like blue or just completely changing colors. Glow in the dark, oil jets, able to squeeze through tiny gaps. Just amazing. The axolotl. MF looks like a Pokemon, and it can regrow body parts to an extreme degree. Whooper moment, am I right, fellas? Giraffes. A horse with a horn is a step too far, but an animal with a 7-foot neck it uses to fight with is apparently normal. The rhinoceros. It's believed that first accounts about them resulted in the myths about unicorns, in which case we still think of them as a mythical creature. The platypus. Honestly, a jackalope sounds more believable than this animal. What's wrong with the semi-aquatic egg-laying mammal of action, huh? You got problems with the platypus? Pretty much any animal if described from the proper perspective to the right person. Blue whales. It's hard to comprehend just how gigantic they are. Which moment in a kid's show or movie have disturbed you the most as a child? Macaulay Culkin dying in My Girl. Pinocchio. The boy turning into a donkey crying for his mama? My heart is beating faster just thinking about it. Littlefoot's mom dying in Land Before Time. I see that specific response to a lot of posts about this kind of stuff. Was it really that traumatic? I don't remember it at all. It seems like it's just the Bambi scene but with dinosaurs, and instead of a man with a gun, it's a meteor. The scene in Neverending Story. You know the one. Are we talking about the horse? They're talking about the horse. 36 years old and I still can't bring myself to rewatch it. I cried and made my sister turn it off when that scene came on when I was like 8, and I hadn't had the courage to try watching it again. Those flying monkeys, Bambi's forest fire, E.T., any scene with the alien, especially the one when it looked like a white chunk of dog poo laying in a creek. The giant baby in one episode of the Rugrats. Large Marge, so terrifying. The witches, when they all took their masks off. What is the best struggle meal? Red beans and rice. Spam and rice, the poor Hawaiian kid special. I'll say it a million times, Spam is some of the best meat, food, whatever. So good. I love Spam. I had Spam the other day in a sandwich, and I had some Spam before that with some eggs. Oh, so good. Noodles. Nothing wrong with instant noodles. Toast with butter and sugar. The comfort food I had when poor as was grilled cheese that you dip in warm tomato soup. Tastes like pizza, and I still do it from time to time. Good old classic peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Soft fried egg added to a tortilla with cheese and salsa. Put back into the pan for a minute to get the tortilla crispy. A nice big bowl of sleep for dinner. I used to just put a slice of bread with a slice of cheese in the microwave for like 20 seconds and then roll it up. Beans on toast. That's why they call me the baked bean queen. Ew, are you British? Disgusting. Which conspiracy theory do you believe and why? The killer clown craze from 2016 was a guerrilla marketing campaign for the It remake that got way out of hand. Even if you uninstalled McAfee, it still comes back. The CIA keeps posting this question to Reddit to see how many people are into them. I'm gonna assume that means onto them. I don't think anyone's into the CIA. My fave conspiracy theory, that the T-Rex arms are short little arms. Turn them around and they're tiny wings like an ostrich. I fucking love this. I'm down to believe this, and you'll have to show me an intact T-Rex or invent time travel for me to do anything but quietly believe otherwise. That the Dittos are failed new clones. I know this one is deep. Guys, I'm gonna talk about Pokemon, alright? Think about it. Ditto and Mew are both pink, and the shinies for both of them are both light blue. It's the same thing. They're the only two Pokemon that can no transform. Oh god. It's so cool. It's such a good theory. It's so cool. Andrew Tate is John F. Kennedy's daughter. Excuse me? TikTok is intentionally feeding American children dumbing content while contrarily feeds Chinese children math and engineering content owned by China's government. Also, it's likely backdooring your phone if you have the app to take info of yours. Too many conspiracy theories all at once? This one is just a fact. Ivana Trump did not fall downstairs by herself. I also think there are probably more classified documents buried with her. I just saw the most evil person post. So who is the best or most saintly person alive today? Probably someone you don't even know and is not famous. The person who buys the needy food and doesn't post it on social media. Dolly Parton. James Harrison. The special antibodies in his blood have saved the lives of 2 million infants. He has donated every week until the age of 81, risking his own health to save the lives of others. He's a hero. The person reading this. I love you, homie. Aw, stop. Oh, so sweet. David Attenborough, for sure. My mom. Betty White. They said alive. Got him. Get it? Because Betty White is dead. According to the local news, it's John Cena! What is one thing that tells you with 100% certainty that someone is boring? 99% of the time, someone has introduced themselves as an entrepreneur. My night has been very, very boring. All they talk about is other people, and it's always negative. The only thing they talk about is themselves. People that need to cut off someone else's story or conversation just to correct something they said. Interesting people are interesting. In other words, people who don't take an interest and are not curious about others in a conversation are boring. Not asking questions from you and just talking about themselves is a clear red flag. If they always complain about being bored, what's the saying? If it smells like everywhere you go, you should check your shoe. Something like that. Only boring people get bored. They like Jeopardy. It's me. I'm someone. Hey, nothing wrong with Jeopardy. Jeopardy's fun. I don't really listen to music. I could never be friends with someone who doesn't listen to music. Even if it's music I don't like. I'd rather be friends with someone who listens to country music than someone who doesn't listen to music at all. As long as they're not a conservative. What song are you currently listening to? A Spotify ad. Want a break from the ads? Okay. Welcome to the internet. I believe that's Bo Burnham. Regulate by Warren G featuring Nate Dogg. Killer Queen by Queen. Is that a JoJo's reference? Bad Religion. Feel Good Inc. by the Gorillaz. Seabat. Are you fucking? Al Green. Stay Together. My Future by Billie Eilish. First time I'm listening to it, it's nice. Du Hast by Rammstein. Who by Fire by Leonard Cohen. Recently fixed up my old CD player for the nostalgia. I once pronounced, when I was in middle school, I pronounced Leonard as Leonard in front of my entire 8th grade language arts class. I got laughed at. Dang! Mac Miller featuring Anderson .Paak. The Sound of Silence. No, literally. No music is playing. What do you hate about the education system? How grades are so emphasized in order for a student to pass, instead of if they actually understand or not. Most students only do what they have to pass, not to learn and actually understand what they're being taught. People other than teachers making curriculum. People who have never been in a damn classroom telling me how to do my job. How they talk to you. The authoritarianism of it all. The whole educational system is based on teachers' unpaid labor. The people that come up with the curriculum. I live in Texas, so gestures broadly. How do you feel about guys with painted nails? If I could live in a house without judgment, I would have my nails painted all the time. I just think it's fun, personally, just for me. It doesn't concern me at all. What really concerns me are people that care in the slightest about some guy painting his nails. David Bowie, Mark Bolan, and Alice Cooper have been doing it since 1971. If they're using them for assassinations, like if they're poisonous and they're going around scratching people, then yeah, I have issues with it. Otherwise, who fucking cares? Unless it really clashes with the color of their clothes, then call the fashion police, maybe. My wife found it very hot when I painted my nails black for Halloween. She mentions it whenever she remembers. Please tell me you did it again. I will. Old news. Punks already did this in the 70s. It screams confidence. What do you guys think about painting your nails if you're, a man? What is a movie you genuinely think should have a sequel? Not so much anymore because of Armie Hammer, but always wanted to see a sequel to The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Beetlejuice. Bug's Life. Gremlins 3. Either them taking over Washington, the White House, or just make it a Halloween theme like the first one is Christmas themed. The Truman Show, The Batman, and Joker. Inception. It's my favorite Nolan film. Megamind. I thought we were getting a Megamind sequel, are we not? What's a little known movie that more people should watch? Maybe it's not entirely unknown, but People Under the Stairs is an underrated classic. Mouse Hunt, 1997. Rubber. It's about a tire that kills people. Gods Must Be Crazy. It's hilarious. James and the Giant Peach. Kid-friendly, great family movie, beautifully animated, old, and original. They simply don't make them the same. Kung Fu Hustle. It's hilarious. I always recommend Frequently Asked Questions About Time Travel. So good. What do you hate the most about humanity? That people who are constantly assholes or disrespectful just get away with it because that's who they are. But when Little Me breaks and has one disrespectful retort or nasty attitude, I get raked over the coals for it. We make everything so damn complicated for no legit reasons. I think there's actually not much of the humanity left now. How long have you got? Ironically, hate itself. We're the only species on this planet that could end it. What did you have for breakfast? I think I skipped breakfast this morning. I don't remember. Usually I have an egg sandwich though, with like turkey and pepperoni pepper jack cheese and some whole wheat toast. I don't know. Coffee. I had a bowl of oatmeal with milk and sugar. I had toast with butter. Next time, try butter with toast. It's a game changer. Egg scramble with some bacon, tomatoes, spinach, and mushrooms. My wife is awesome. Homemade cinnamon rolls. Nothing. Air has entered the chat. Bold of you to assume that I wake up before 11:30 a.m. Breakfast is the first meal of the day, you know. The one that breaks your fast. Bold of you to assume that I fast at night. A bagel with cream cheese in the form of a question. A croissant with a banana and some tea. What is a quote from a fictional character that has stuck with you ever since? If more of us valued food and cheer and song above hoarded gold, it would be a merrier world. Thorin Oakenshield from The Hobbit. If a lot of people love each other, the world would be a better place. Johnny, The Room. Oh, hi, Mark. I wish it need not have happened in my time, said Frodo. So do I, said Gandalf. And so do all who live to see such times. That is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. No amount of money bought a second of time. Tony Stark. They like the things science gives them, but not the questions science asks. From Frankenweenie. I think it stuck with me because I heard it at such a young age. It does not do well to dwell on dreams and forget to live. Dumbledore. Of course it's all in your head, but why on earth should that have to mean it isn't real? Dumbledore. I swear by my pretty floral bonnet, I will end you. You never get a happy ending because there's always more show. BoJack Horseman. They laugh at me because I'm different. I laugh at them because they're all the same. Ain't no way this guy just quoted Joker. Alright, I have a good one. Mine is from Silene from Pokemon Legends Arceus. It is, how others choose to view you is a choice only they can make. You cannot make it for them. I think it's a really nice one, and I have it saved because I think it's neat. What quote do you wish people would stop using? If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Any of the ones attributed to Albert Einstein. The customer is always right. Different variations of the phrase, yeah, I'm a polar, but I'm the most loyal MF you'll ever meet. As if it's a virtue to be inconsiderate head to all but a select few people. Don't be nervous. That just makes me more nervous. Well, I'm a bit over Karen. No, so here's the thing. As long as Karen still exists, we're gonna keep calling them Karens until people start respecting retail workers and fast food workers and any underpaid worker like that. They're Karens. I don't care if you're over it or not. I did a thing. The millennial anthem. I love Dr. Seuss, but if I have to see Don't Cry Because It's Over, Smile Because It Happened one more time, I'm gonna lose it. No pain, no gain. As someone into fitness, I hate hearing this, even when it's just joking around in the gym. Pain is your body saying, please stop doing this before you end up injured. What is something everyone loves but you hate? Long phone calls. Raymond. So you're his brother. Hookups and one-night stands. I don't think anyone loves hookups and one-night stands. I just think it's a need that people need fulfilled. Not all people, some people, and they'll seek it out. Maybe don't be so judgmental. Social media. Sometimes I feel like a weirdo. Am I the only one that loves privacy? Myself. That TV show Friends. Olives. Same. Olives are fucking disgusting. And they're right. Olives are gross. If you like olives, comment below and tell me that I'm wrong. Say, Mason, you're wrong. Olives are good. And I will dislike that comment. What looks fun in movies, but is not fun in real life? Fighting. Movie heroes always take punches and are unscathed in the next scene, except for minor bruising. IRL, they'd be incapacitated for a few days and maybe suffer a concussion. Constant misunderstandings. Prom. Being shot at by 50 guys. Getting a taxi. The price is enough to ruin your day. Tarzan surfing on trees. Imagine the splinters I'd get myself even though I'm keen to be dynamic like him. Snakes on a plane. Going to uni. Dating. In the movies, there's a meet cute followed by a montage of fun romantic dates. Real life, awkwardness, uncertainty, insecurity, and dread. High school. What is the worst thing you've ever had to clean up? Cow died in a pond and I had to drag it out. It had been there a few days, so it was pretty ripe. I'm gonna throw up. That's fucking gross. Dog ran in from the garden, jumped on the bed, and vomited her breakfast plus a cat poo that she'd just eaten. Hard to describe how bad that smelled. Overflowing grease trap in a restaurant kitchen. Nasty. I used to clean public park restrooms in Texas in August. I quit to work in a sewer plant because it smelled better. Camp trash cans that hadn't been cleaned in so long. Maggots were squirming all over them. My first job was detailing cars. We had a station wagon roll in that 2 large dogs had used as a doghouse, toilet, labor, and deliver room. It was a pretty solid nightmare fuel. Grease trap at a restaurant that hadn't been cleaned in 2 years. I vomited constantly from the smell to the point that my nose bled while wearing a respirator. Gun to your head, you can only eat one dish for the rest of your life. What is it? My answer is tomato soup. What do you guys think? Okay, hear me out. Potatoes. It might have to be a little more specific because the man with the gun to your head might just put raw potatoes in front of you. If I can only eat one thing, I'd eat the bullet. Eating is one of the 5 things that keep me going. Oh, tacos. Easy. I don't think would be very nutritious. Sushi, beat me to it. Salad, because they're extremely versatile and customizable, and you can add as much or as little of almost anything you want. Wait, the rest of my life? You're gonna shoot me once I've eaten, aren't you? There's no way you can hold a gun to my head for several years. I'll have a crispy deep fried chili beef with special fry, please, since I'm gonna die anyway. Beef stew loaded with vegetables, carrots, celery, onion, green beans, potatoes, and mushrooms. You could eat them a la carte. Salmon, oven roasted potatoes, broccoli, zucchini, peppers, sweet potatoes, and a side of avocado. What is the new American dream? To have enough money working one job to live comfortably. Current objective, survive. Having enough money not to be stressed 24/7 about something breaking. To be able to own a home, retire before 70, and to be covered enough in a medical situation that you don't end up homeless after a routine operation. To get hit by a post truck or other government vehicle and get just injured enough to sue, but not too injured as to not be able to enjoy your payout. A less shitty America. To not have roommates. Paying rent and having enough left over for a meal. Same as it always been, get super rich doing very little work. That's why influencer is a dream job and people invest in crazy things like crypto and NFTs. People want to hit home runs and they don't want to grind for a decent living. It's just harder to achieve now. If you can get one more season from your favorite TV show, which one would it be? Mindhunter. This is the right answer. Pushing Daisies. My name is Earl. Game of Thrones. I don't want a 9th season though. I want them to have a second try at season 8. Hannibal. Community. Hey, you got a movie. Futurama. Good news, everyone. How I Met Your Mother. They need to make the last 2 episodes a whole season so they don't give the audience whiplash when they threw out everything they had previously built up. More time with Ted and his wife, and with Robin and Barney before the divorce and the death, and then have the last episode the same but at the end of season 10. What's better when it's smaller? Kidney stone. Debt. Bouts of diarrhea. Tumors. Yeah, for sure. Inflation. Time spent on Reddit. Problems. Sharts. Those tiny M&Ms you get for Halloween. Oh, that's so true. The tiny M&Ms taste so much better than the regular M&Ms. If you were 22 again, what would you do differently? Go back to college sooner. Divorce much earlier. Get a good therapist and date people who have great follow-through rather than lots of potential. I went backpacking through Europe when I was 20. It was what really pushed me out of my comfort zone, but also gave me a whole new perspective of how America didn't really have the monopoly on freedom. But if I was 22, I would have just graduated college and gone back to Europe and stayed there. Instead, I just worked on a couple different careers and became a hobby farmer, which I enjoy, but now really prevents me from expatriating unless I make a lot of sacrifices. Break up with my high school boyfriend and enter a different industry. Start lifting weights. Not too much. Tweak a few decisions I had made. Hey, fair enough. Stop using credit cards to buy things that I couldn't afford. What is a simple thing that makes you happy? Mine would be getting home from work and being greeted at the door by my cat. All the cat subreddits. Being told, I'm proud of you. Iced black coffee in the morning sun. Outliving an enemy. It's one of the few satisfactions of old age. Some people love to live off spite, and that's okay. Hanging out with friends. Nature. A compliment means I'm doing something right. McDonald's chicken nuggets. Flowers and a nice cup of tea. If you could delete anything in this world, what would it be? War, hate, violence, and judgment. Anyone who says people. Ah, he got you. My third nipple. Megatron, religion, your account. Thank you, Sigma Not Depressed with the Roblox Weezer profile picture. The internet. Let's see how broad the human knowledge is when we remove it in their lives. Because I'm sure a lot of people pretend to be smart by just looking up on the internet. Because I believe that true knowledge is shown by real life practice, not search, copy paste. Wow, this guy's really fucking annoying. This guy's annoying. You're a nerd. You're a fucking dweeb. Get a job. You're dating your username. How good do you have it? No, I don't want to be a furry. Tired of hearing about how much they bench press. Probably pretty bad. Oh no. Oh no. I'm dating a vehicle. It's pretty queer, all right. Oh yeah. I'm in heaven. If life was a video game, then what could be some achievements? Bring joy. Make someone else smile. Achievement unlocked. Slippery slope. Yourself in public after trying to let out a silent fart. I'll start. My middle name is Danger and my first name is Dumb. Put yourself into a near-death experience on purpose and survive. What the hell are you smoking? Yes. Emotional insight. Awareness and capacity to process emotions in a healthy manner. Achievement unlocked. You went 30 days without offending someone. Trophy. You live a boring life. Okay. Class clown. Make a joke everyone will remember. For the depressed, you've brushed your teeth. Tax god. Do your taxes without making a mistake or paying anyone to do it for you. What's a fact that some people just can't accept? Science doesn't care what you believe. That life isn't supposed to be fair and that equality of opportunity and equality of outcome are not the same. Facts aren't opinions. Not everyone that disagrees with them is an evil person trying to push some malevolent agenda. You can do the best, not make mistakes, and still lose. Life isn't fair. You can and will be wrong. Being part of the alphabet mafia doesn't actually make you a better person. You can be gay, trans, bi, whatever, and be a piece of I'm gay and agree. You've been gay certified. The term alphabet mafia is conspiratorial conspiratorial and derogatory. It seems a little cucked to agree with him, TBH, but I like your positivity. Yeah, something doesn't feel right here. That we are the same humans as Sumerians, Romans, and all the people who were alive 1,000 years ago. It doesn't matter if it's 2022 or 7,000 BC. That their choices have more impact on their life than they are willing to admit. People who ride ridiculously loud motorcycles on purpose. Why? I'm far more interested in hearing from people who accidentally ride ridiculously loud motorcycles. Their story should be a doozy. There's a South Park episode that addresses this question. I know which one you're talking about. I wish I knew, so I'd maybe have a reason to be empathetic to my neighbor that wakes my kids up at least 4 times a week revving his super cool bike to take off at 20 miles per hour on a quiet residential street. Motorcycles are a bit like alcohol. It's fun to be drunk. It's not fun to be sober around drunks. Look at me! Look at me! I'm important! I was into loud car audio, and I was an immature asshole. I wish I could apologize. Loud motorcycle guy is like a toddler that walks around banging pans together. What is a minor inconvenience that instantly pisses you off? When I go to a web page, but it doesn't load all at once, so when you go to click something, the page shifts as other things load in, and you end up clicking the wrong thing. When this happens, I can feel my body physically reeling from the anger and stress. People standing in doorways, especially people standing in groups having conversations in doorways. Get the hell out of the way already. People's lack of awareness of others really astounds me. When you bite your tongue or cheek while eating, and then suddenly that one particular spot becomes like a magnet attracting your teeth to it and you keep biting it. When a ballpoint pen doesn't work when it clearly has ink in it. It has one job. When the people walking in front of me are really slow, but also spread out so you can't walk past them. Ads that try to hide the X button by putting something white where the button is. Forgot password? Enters new password. New password can't be the same as the old password. Ads in the middle of videos. Ads that block the paragraph I just started reading. Ads that are made to look like normal content. Ads. The incorrect autocorrect. When the cord from my headphones catches on something and they're yanked from my ears. Just get Bluetooth headphones. Silly Billy. Struggling to get clothes off for whatever reason makes me panic and see red. Sports bra plus sweaty body equals panic. And having an itch on the bottom of your foot but wearing shoes, that's brutal, especially while driving. You become emperor of the world and everybody has to obey you. What do you do first? Tell everyone to chill the f*** out. Execute Order 66, of course. Put somebody else in charge and take a week off. In Australia, we call that the Scott Morrison approach. Not without a trip to Hawaii while the country is burning. The ScoMo no-show. I just realized if I had this power, most people wouldn't remember me as a nice person. First act. No matter what I do, you must remember me as a nice person. Hey, that solves a lot of problems there. Get Google to teach the maps lady how to pronounce Welsh locations. I did the Australian accent on my GPS, and hearing her pronounce the names of places where I live that are Indigenous American in origin is interesting. Play the world's largest game of Simon Says. Losers get dragged to hell, but if you win, you get a medal. A medal? Count me in! Build a huge mansion on a private island. Then I would get to the boring stuff like world peace. Personal peace is very important to take wise decisions. Every item of clothing must have at least 2 pockets. I'm emperor of the world. I shout if I want. 2 pockets on each sock will be weird. Pyramids. That's definitely top prio for every great ruler. Pyramid schemes or pyramid to keep your dead body? Probably both. Bro, think of the pyramid we could build today. You know how we can look back and wonder how the pyramids were built with the tech and power available then? What can we build today that would baffle future observers? What's the most gatekeepy opinion that you hold? A lot of people in the comments don't know what gatekeep means. Stop gatekeeping. Stop gatekeeping people from gatekeeping. For travelers, if you didn't leave the airport and spend at least one day in the country, you didn't visit the place. I'm not telling you. 3-wheelers and slingshots are not motorcycles. Don't talk about how great your country is if you haven't spent some time abroad. My country is the greatest in the world. Guy who's never left his zip code. Cruises and all-inclusive hotels do not count. If you want to design tabletop RPGs, you need to play more than just D&D. The gate at my workplace is for deliveries only. You're not a foodie if you only like to eat 5 things and pick half the stuff in every dish before you eat it. Also, you need to cook or else you really don't understand food and all the processes that can go into making something. If you can't even cook basic stuff and haven't bothered to try much of anything, your food opinions don't matter. It's so petty and I hate myself for it, but when someone sits down at the piano and pounds out either chopsticks or Fur Elise, my soul dies. Yeah, that's why you gotta play Undertale music, like the Sands Battle or the Ronbu music, the whatever it's called, Falling Down. Those ones you'll get a hit with gamers and non-gamers alike. You shouldn't wear band t-shirts if you don't know the band. The original gatekeeping. What is wrong with society today? Social media. They're taking the bait and embrace the infighting, rather than making meaningful change by collectively directing their anger at people who've been f***ing them for years with no Vaseline. Poor public education. We are too focused on what everybody else is doing instead of caring for our natural world. Unwillingness to listen. Yeah, this. Also an unwillingness to listen. Lack of kindness. Encouragement of cruelty, whether severe or it was just a prank, bro. Laughs maniacally while swinging fists. It's just a prank, bro. Just a prank. Why you mad, bro? Jeez, lighten up. I hate this kind of thinking. Pranks are supposed to be lighthearted, not detrimental to someone's health. health. We are more concerned about Instagram likes than actual problems. This feels like a shallow dig. People just don't feel empowered to face the actual problems because the system in place obfuscate it. Bad public education leading to people being more susceptible to bullshit and propaganda on the internet and TV. I 100% agree. People not developing the ability to critically think and form a rational and logical idea on an issue or topic is a serious problem. Makes it so easy to manipulate and abuse. People aren't wearing enough hats for sun protection or just style. McDonald's doesn't serve breakfast all day. In Canada, they do. That moment when people started lifting up their phones to film tragedy instead of stepping in to help. Whatever caused that, that's what's wrong. Lack of love. What's a small act of kindness that literally anyone can do and practice every day? Be aware of your surroundings and don't block entrances, exits, hallways, etc. Not act on road rage. Just let the moment pass. Patience. You never know what someone else is going through. Could be a breakup, their dog just died, granny finally made it to heaven, or maybe mom just broke the news that she's got end-stage cervical cancer and has weeks left to live. You never know, so be patient. After all, wouldn't you want someone to be patient with you? I really enjoy letting people with less items go ahead of me at checkout in the grocery store. The look on their face when I signal for them to get in front of me makes it worth waiting a little longer. Hold doors open for people. I've always done it. Ask people how they are, then pay attention and listen. Their life is important as yours, and you might just learn something. Assume anyone you've had a bad interaction with is a good person who's just having a bad day. Be nice to retail and customer service employees. Just let each other merge in traffic and stop trying to race to the front of the line. It's not that hard. You can actually cause a 20-minute backup by causing one person to brake hard and disrupt the flow. What food is total garbage if you reheat it in the microwave? Anything with red sauce in it, for sure. Fries. They need that dry heat of an air fryer. Soggy microwave fries are the worst. They taste like sadness. Anything with lettuce. I always want to get it on my sandwich, but sucks in the fridge. Ugh, the nasty hot lettuce is the worst. To school bullies, why did you do it and do you regret it? Man, I hope this blows up. I need answers. And me too, buddy. Just ask my oldest, 19M. He was a horrible bully, especially his little brother. I did everything I could think of to correct this behavior, but his father's endlessly encouraging of it. He said, because I was super jealous, dude. They got to be weird, but I couldn't because dad would hate me. He has embraced his weird, thank God. Unfortunately, he does admit that he doesn't really regret it. I faced a lot of abuse. It doesn't make what I did right, but I regret it every single day. I wish I could track down the people I bullied and apologize. I try to all the time, but I can't find them. I didn't realize I was. I thought by asking questions I was showing interest, not shaming. I thought by sharing similar stories I was relating, but not one-upping. That was the only language I was taught to speak. I did not come to understand what it meant to others until I was much older. I was bullied, so I bullied others. Me being bullied made me feel bad, so to prop myself up, I bullied weaker ones. I didn't need to be the strongest person in school, but I also didn't want to be the weakest. Is the right train of thought. Nope, but I was 13. I was a bully short term. After my parents got divorced when I was 9, I just didn't understand my feelings. I started acting out, looking for a place to fit in. I got to hanging around the rougher kids and just started bullying this one kid for no reason for years until we moved away. I went quickly from bullying to being bullied. I went from fighting because I wanted to fighting because I had to. I got tired of it real quick. It managed to calm my ass down, and after my stepdad, he was an abusive drunk, finally went to prison, it was as if all the violence in me went with him. My grades improved, I had a really good girlfriend almost all the way through high school, attendance was up, worked on an after-school job, and went to church every Wednesday and twice on Sunday. I mostly blame my stepdad for behavior, as they say, hurt people hurt people. Yeah, I absolutely regret it. I used to bully the bullies. Aside from them, I was a friendly person and got along with like 90% of my year level. I don't regret having cracks at these guys, but there are individual incidents that I regret when I took it too far. I wanted to make everyone else feel as powerless and frustrated and angry as I was. Oh my god, that was so negative. Holy moly. What is your best insult? I'm jealous of people who don't know you. You're so hard to underestimate. Call anyone forehead and watch them break. I love how we went from regretting bullying stories to being heads to people. That's so mean. I'm not as stupid as you look. I'm a fan of, I've been called worse things by better people. All those nasty insecurities you have about yourself are true. If you had an intelligent thought in your head, it died of loneliness. The only way a woman would interact with you is with a taser. I'm sorry, who are you? I lack the appropriate color crayons to explain this to you. The best part of you ran down the crack of your mother's. Women of Reddit, what are things men do that make them ghostable? I'm taking notes, ladies. I met a guy at a bar once. He seemed like a nice guy and we exchanged numbers. The following week, he asked me out. I told him I couldn't that night, but I was free tomorrow. Why? He asked. I told him I had a funeral tomorrow morning and just didn't feel like going out. What time is the funeral? He said. I won't stay too long. Please, I really want to see you. He wouldn't take no for an answer, and to me, that is a huge red flag. I ghosted him after that. Send unsolicited nudes and still have the audacity to ask if I want some of it. Not respecting boundaries. Instant no. So picking you up on Tuesday Tuesday? Someone that doesn't try to maintain a conversation with you, like you're basically talking to yourself. When they die and start floating around the house moaning spookily, rattling chains, and opening and closing doors. Two girls with a cool hippie van and talking dog would absolutely disagree. Creepy messages or creepy in-person behavior like coming on too strong. I'd rather block you than risk my safety or be accused of leading you on. Sending a message, then 2 minutes later sending question marks, then a couple more minutes later sending hello, bye bitch, lol. Which cartoon character becomes more relatable the older you get? The obvious one, Squidward, Tom from Tom and Jerry. Stu Pickles making pudding at 4 a.m. You've lost control of your life. Homer Simpson, I have 3 kids and no money. Why can't I have no kids and 3 money? Rabbit from Winnie the Pooh. F*** off, uninvited guests. You tell him, Rabbit. That dude from the Bee Movie. I'd be upset too if some girl ditches me for a bee. The Grinch. Megatron. Shut up, Meg. Garfield. I feel like people are conditioned to hate Mondays at an early age now. Donald Duck. Always pissed off? I get it now. All those women who smack Johnny Bravo with their purse. Yeah, isn't it crazy how like an entire show about harassing women is just like a staple in American older Americans? Crazy. Charlie Brown. Hell, I was fully identifying with him when I was 9, and the strip was still current. What gives you faith in humanity? Just day-to-day life and interaction. Based on my experience, I honestly believe that most people are just people who are generally good-natured towards others and have some form of human decency. Don't get me wrong, there are some truly shitty things going on, but there's also kindness too. That good ideas never die. Once humanity gets a hold of an idea like all men are created equal, it will never go away. Didn't make everyone equal overnight. We're still working on that. Thus, we progress, little by little. As fallen angels, we suck, but as rising apes, we're kind of killing it. r/ made me smile. There are still good people in this world, making others happy with acts of kindness, big or small. The man who helped me put on my spare tire. Everyone else honked at me and passed me, but not this guy. He even went back to his apartment to get his jack and then helped me. Thanks, Philip. I still meet good people and see good deeds done on a daily basis. Small children who haven't yet been corrupted by the shit of the world, being happy and carefree. Men who are curious about breasts. What questions do you want answered? Were backpacks ever useful like counterweights? I know it's so stupid, but freshman me had this question going on. Only if by counterweight you mean even more crushing weight on your shoulders? What effects does a period have on them? It makes them sore. Does it hurt if I hug back tightly when a woman hug me? It can do. Depends on the individual, of course, but there are differing levels of sensitivity and hormones. Can make them uncomfortable, icky, painful without tight hugs. Do women also have random nipple erections in public? Oh yes, another reason padded bras exist. Why don't we have padded underwear for public boners? Does it get uncomfortable when you sleep on your stomach? Sometimes you can get a pillow just right so it's comfy. 99% of the time, either a nip gets mad, it's getting squished, or the lower back starts aching due to the angle. Boner here. Please tell us if you feel something that feels off. Women can get breast cancer as early as their 20s, and an extra pair of hands will be helpful. Signed, a breast cancer fighter whose ex told her that he felt something but didn't tell her because he didn't want to freak me out. When you are breastfeeding and have to pump, does it feel like a full bladder having to pee but in your breast, or does it just fill up and you pump whenever? Also, do y'all do weird things to them when you're bored? The fucking double whammy. Holy moly. For me, it wasn't like I needed to pee. First, there would be some leaking, and then it would feel almost like pressure, and then they would get hard and painful. If I didn't pump every 2 hours, they would become hard like concrete, to the point my skin would start looking shiny because the skin was stretching, but not like peeing in the least bit, more like a pressure or muscle cramp. Do you store anything in between them? Look, mate, women's clothes rarely have decent pockets, and sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Well, I learned a lot today. This is so fun. What are some myths that people still believe? That bubblegum stays in your body for 7 years if you swallow it. It doesn't. Guys, come on. It's actually 17 years. My dad had this guy helping him out, think big box store DIY curb ready helper, who told him, if you sleep with your hair wet, you will bleed out of your mouth. And he was 100% sure that was a fact. We were both just confused and bewildered at this statement. What the hell had this guy witnessed? His mom was sick of wet pillows and made that up. Lie detectors is a literal thing. There's a reason they aren't dismissible as evidence in court in most places. You have to wait 48 hours to report someone missing. People are saying 48 hours now? Good lord. No, do it immediately, guys. Come on. My mom always tells me to never mix milk and fish, since that would poison me. Same goes to sleeping with socks in bed. It makes people blind, according to her. I still believe that if any of my limbs hang off the bed while sleeping, that a monster will grab them. Also believe that the moment I remember this and pull them back on the bed is just in the nick of time before a monster grabs them. You can't prove that there isn't a monster under my bed. For far too long, I sincerely believed that if you eat an apple seed, a tree may begin to grow inside inside of you that you should pee on a jellyfish sting for relief. Please don't do that. Lightning never strikes the same place twice. Yes, it does. That's the entire reason for lightning rods on buildings. Diamonds being rare gems that you must wait at least 30 minutes after eating before going swimming. Otherwise, you could develop deadly cramps that lead to drowning. This was made to keep kids from throwing up in pools. I'd bet money on it. Or to give the parents a break to finish their meals before going back to full supervision mode. The one about you're supposed to buy an engagement ring worth 3 months of your pays. Idiots still falling for a PR ad campaign from the 1920s, or maybe it was the 30s. Doesn't matter, it's ridiculous. You can make one thing 5% bigger. What do you choose? Hey, I think we all know the answer for some of us. Well, I was born with one arm shorter than the other, so naturally I'd wish for a bigger There it is. Everyone's patience. The X button in mobile ads. My parents' lifespan. My love for myself. It's lacking and I could use the boost. You're doing great, dude man last name. The density of hair on my noggin. The earth, just to see what happens. Suddenly, more earth. It's free real estate. The right foot on everyone in the world. Not everyone would notice, but it would mess with the minds of those that did just enough. Population count of endangered species. Monkey's paw. 5% more animals are added to the endangered species list. Monkey's paw, but helpful. All those are mosquito species. You know what? Let's make the sun 5% bigger. I want to see what happens. Instant death. Huh, neat. Hey, I'm ready. I've lived a good life, all right? The amount of good in everyone. My salary. Antarctica. Cool everything the down. What is the biggest scam in today's society? Ticketmaster charging a $30 processing fee for a $50 ticket. Textbook access codes you get after buying a new textbook and it can only use once. Insider trading in Congress. Fitness advice by influencers whose only goal is peddling their products. Working 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and still being broke. You just need to stop spending so much money, you stupid millennial. Maybe stop buying so much avocado toast, and maybe you'll be able to buy a house in 25 years. It's easy as that. Just stop spending so much money. Capitalism bullshit. Needing a degree for an entry-level, low-paying job. Annual raises are lower than annual inflation. 10 hot dogs, 8 buns.
What's something you did as a teenager that you look back on and think, holy f***, that was f***ing stupid? Walking from Virginia to Maryland over the frozen Potomac River on my sophomore year in high school. I got about halfway out and laid down in the ice so that I could see along the bottom of the river. It wasn't until several years later that I heard on the news that the Potomac never freezes over enough for people to walk on it. Ooh, sounds like you got pretty lucky. Post constant, nonsensical updates to my Facebook wall. Well, what teenager didn't? I thought that, if I acted angsty and pushed people away from me, I'd make people want to know more about me and why I was so distant. For any current teenagers who didn't already know, this doesn't work. People will just let you be alone and go find someone who's more friendly to them being around. At the age of 15/16-ish, I traveled to England by myself to meet an internet stranger/lover. OMG, we need the full story. How did you pull that off? I had been babysitting for a while. Money wasn't an issue. I told my parents I was staying with a friend's cousin. I actually maintained a relationship with this person for over 2 years, so my parents did eventually meet them, but they never learned who I was really visiting that time. Stayed at a shitty job for years because of no reason at all. I woke up and went to bed every day hating the job and wishing I didn't have it. This was during a time when part-time jobs like mine were not hard to find. I could have moved on to something else anytime I wanted. I know this because once I finally did decide to look for something else, I found it within days. I still look back on it and wonder why I spent the last of my teen years hating life because of a job that I only had for extra pocket money. It taught me that it's really easy to get used to something shitty and to not let something like that happen again. Roll down a hill inside the center of a giant cable spool the telephone company had left behind. I was fine, but could have easily fallen out and broken my spine. Oh, I can hear the Mario slide music right now. Tried to be popular. Unfortunately, I don't think being popular is something you can really try to do. Texting with complete strangers and giving them too much information about myself. Dude, I already told you my social security number. Now you want my mom's maiden name? Well, anyways, it's neon lime green skinny jeans. This one feels like just a randomly generated sentence. Socially skilled people of Reddit, what are your go-to topics when a conversation goes awkwardly quiet? Ask about their hobbies or talk about your own. I realized I was talking to the love of my life and she asked about my love of Factorio and production games. Not only I could talk about it for what felt hours, she kept engaging with it and now she has her own Factorio factory. Ford, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. I guess that's a pretty good baseline to follow. Something I haven't seen is to be a good listener. Conversation often goes quiet because you really haven't listened to the person, so things just kind of die off. While the other person is talking, actually listen to what they say. Don't plan your response while they're talking. I've found when I actively listen that that conversations rarely just get awkwardly silent. Anyone up to date on Great British Bake Off? Oh, shit. Oh man, yeah? My top 3 is Maxi, Janusz, and Sandro. What about you? I will simply add that silence is awkward only if you make it so. Learn to be comfortable with pauses. Take a sip of your drink. Look at your surroundings and the person you're talking to. You don't need to fill a void. Confidence comes from within. Socially skilled people of Reddit, you're kidding, right? Politics. Always bring up politics. Also how much everyone makes. And religion too. People love to talk about the way their favorite god wishes you to live your life. That's a dangerous one, but it is a conversation starter. What do you value more than money? Oh, for me it's my dog. He's such a sweet little guy. Time, obviously. If I had infinite time, that would be epic. Health. Unfortunately in America, your money is directly tied to your health. Free time. My inner peace. Non-negotiable. My wife. I also choose this guy's wife. Human connection and time with people. You must have been losing it during the pandy then, huh? My cat. Which pizza is the best pizza? Surprise pizza. Come home from a long day at work and see they ordered pizza. Oh boy! Free pizza. You really can't go wrong when it's free. Personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut in 1996 that was free because I read some books. Margarita pizza. Oh, unfortunately, you're wrong. Wood-fired pizza. I really can't say if I've eaten much wood-fired pizza, so no comment. Detroit. I love thick and crunchy crust. Pepperoni. You can't beat the classics. Pineapple. I'll die on that hill. You and me both, buddy. But if you don't like that, then you can send me DMs that I will not look at. Breakfast pizza. I don't think I've ever had that, but I guess it could be good? I don't know. Chicago style meat lovers. Gonna be honest here, not a big fan of Chicago style. Not sure what it is. What in weddings makes you cringe? Guests who take pictures of the ceremony with a fucking iPad. Releasing of doves into the sky. At my wedding, I will release rats into the crowd. I recently went to a wedding where the bride and groom had signs and decor with "It was always you" everywhere. When the bride and groom met, the bride was one of 3 women the groom was dating. They spent a decade cheating on all of their partners to be with each other before they finally got together. But I guess that was all okay because it was always you. What a weird thing to highlight with your decorations at your wedding. When someone else proposes to their significant other, like, why take all the attention from the bride and groom and put it on yourself instead? It's so selfish. They're just trying to save money, you know? They can get their own ceremony going at that current wedding. When the groom goes up the bride's skirt in front of all their family, it's so extremely weird and out of place to me. Like, why would you want to do that in front of your parents and grandparents? I really don't get why that's even a tradition. When you overhear an exchanging of words and nobody's ever heard of closing the goddamn door. No, it's much better to face these kinds of things with a sense of poise and rationality. If you didn't pick up on that cute little reference, I think that was Fall Out Boy. Any wedding where the bridesmaids and groomsmen have been ordered to perform a choreographed dance at any point during the festivities, whether that's dancing up the aisle or a full-on dance number during the reception, smashing the slice of cake in each other's face. Oh, it's so cute how you got my face all dirty and now we're wasting the food. Aww. Ball and chain jokes. Why TF are you getting married then? I'll never understand straight people in that regard. Like, you just hate your significant other, so why did you do this? So many Ed Sheeran songs. I'm really glad I haven't been to a wedding in a long time. What seems fun but was actually not fun the first time you did it? Being adult, because I can do whatever I want. Now in my 30s, I wake up and work, pay bills and taxes while fight off crippling depression. Going to a big theme park. I spent hours standing in line getting sunburned for some 3 to 4 minute rides. My feet and legs were so sore from standing in one place for that long. And everything was ridiculously expensive. And there were screaming children everywhere. I honestly just wanted to go home after a couple rides. Sleeping on a trampoline as a kid. Oh, I always wanted to do that, but I guess it is kind of uncomfortable since your body's like bent. All little kids want to mow the lawn when they watch their dad do it. Once they do it, they realize that it actually sucks. Last time I mowed the lawn, I think I was blind for 2 days because of just like the grains and allergies kicking in. Sitting close to the screen in a movie theater. I was front row for the Truman Show. It was amazing. Every other time was miserable, but Truman Show was somehow different. Clubbing. F***ing terrible. I don't know how people have the energy. It's just stressful. Receiving mail. Always looked forward to receiving mail when I was a kid. As an adult, not so much. Because most of the time it's just bills or advertisements, so it's really annoying. Snow skiing. The first time is miserable. That's why I stay shredding on my board, baby. What is a horror movie yet to be made. Aliens abduct a human, but the human is actually a psychopathic serial killer and is now loose on their ship, hunting them down. Jason X was almost that, but not quite. What a special movie. I think the scariest movie that seemingly nobody has made would be about the things we imagine in the dark. Somebody behind you when you turn off the lights at the top of the stairs, walking by a bedroom or closet and somebody is there type thing. I hate coming up from the basement in the night or even walking by the den just to make sure nobody is standing there. A movie like that would actually f*** me up. This is exactly what scared me so much about the Babadook. His silhouette reminds me of being little and frightened of a coat rack in the dark because it somewhat resembled a person. There's a scene at a police station that actually has a coat rack that kinda looks like the Babadook and the main character is spooked by it. Desperate screenwriters trawling Reddit for horror movie ideas. So long as it isn't full-blown plagiarism, if they're just getting ideas and then they expand on it, go for it. Don't know why, but I feel like Jennifer Aniston playing a sadistic murderer would be good because you wouldn't want to believe it. In that scenario, I guess it would have to be like some sort of reveal that she's the murderer. A movie filled to the brim with tension and dark atmosphere where every jump scare is a cat and there's actually nothing happening. Just someone with an overactive imagination who keeps getting scared by their cat. Coming to screens near you. Generalized anxiety disorder. The movie. I don't buy into this mentality in real life, but always thought it would make an intriguing story. A protagonist in a large city is terrified that people are looking at and stalking them. In the beginning, it seems that the protagonist is just paranoid and mistaken, but as the story progresses, the audience slowly realizes that the protagonist is completely correct. It could explore themes of social anxiety, paranoia, antisocial behavior, modernity, and more. Sounds like The Truman Show. Black Mirror did something similar to this in the episode White Bear. If The Truman Show was only following Truman's perspective, not like seeing the outside world, I think it would be a really good horror movie. High School the Musical 4. Oh god, no, not this! A poo that resents you for parting with it that takes its way through the sewers to find you and kill you. While I do really like that, I don't know how marketable that would be. What was a lesson you learned too late? Do not get multiple credit cards. Don't do it, it's a bad idea. Sometimes you have to initiate. You can't just wait around for people to come to you. That people won't do the same fucking thing you did for them, however life-saving it was. Take care of your teeth. I'm trying, okay? It is important to think critically and deeply about who the person you're in love with actually is. Not be caught up in who they appear to be. But at the same time, don't overthink too hard where you imagine a fake personality onto them because, oh, believe me, I've done that. If your date is an asshole to random people, it's only a matter of time before they treat you like that as well. Find happiness that doesn't rely on others. Easier said than done. You can't satisfy everyone. Oh yeah? Watch me. If you never take chances, you'll be full of regrets. Problems do not go away if you ignore them long enough. In some circumstances, they get worse, actually. What would you do if you woke up with telekinesis? See if I can make myself fly. That's probably the first thing. I'm sick of driving. Not tell anyone. Then you can pull little pranks on people. Hee hee hee. Immediately set about testing and developing my powers privately. How fine control do I have? Can I type with it and tie my shoes? What's the weight limit? Can I move a couch? Throw a car? Can I fly? How long can I maintain something? If someone gets all road ragey, can I just make their car pull over and hover a half inch above the shoulder for half an hour? Can I move people? Can I punch things? I'd keep it a secret as long as possible until I figure out exactly what my capabilities are. Then go watch Chronicle for more ideas. Andrew, come on, man. Come on, Andrew. Dress up as Darth Vader and tell people I find their lack of faith disturbing. Embrace my username. Tell it on it. Okay, I see what you mean. Clearly the answer is hands-free. No? Does that mean you could do it with, like, clothes on? Cause, whoa. Probably hit snooze without moving. Be careful not to just shatter your phone or alarm clock, though. What's the worst type of music? Alright, everyone, let's remember, music is subjective. That f***ing alarm clock. Especially Apple's. Every time I hear it out of context, I get a mini panic attack. Oh, you mean this one? The music you don't like. This is the only reply that makes sense, TBH. Anything you hear being blasted on public transport or hiking. Please don't use Bluetooth speakers when you're going hiking. I know it's fun with your friends, but it's also noise pollution and kind of scaring the animals away from their zones. TikTokers that release a breakup song and go, "Did I just release the song of the summer?" before? No, you did not. But unfortunately, the algorithm is going to force me to hear it 40 times. Corporate advertising music with ukulele and whistling. Oh, you mean every Kickstarter since 2010? That one U2 album that got randomly downloaded on my phone years ago. They will never live this down, and I fully support that. To be fair, it wasn't U2 that put the album on everyone's phone. U2 just wanted to make the album free in iTunes. It was Apple's decision to force it onto everyone's devices. Would you say they did it pro bono? Oh my god, whatever. The music used in 99% of TikToks. Country designed to appeal to too many people. Mainstream pop rap is quite annoying. Pop rap? I don't know if I have an exact example in mind. Mumble rap or music played at gyms. Whatever's currently in the charts. Oh, so you just don't like new music? Got it. Time to sort by controversial. Whatever genre Imagine Dragons is. D-Rock? Yeah, I'd say that's pretty close. Older people of Reddit who grew up without a phone, how did you spend your free time in your 20s? Drove around aimlessly, hung out at coffee shops, went to movies and concerts, walked around parks in the mall, played video games, went to diners with friends, played card and board games, sat out in the dark and watched falling stars. Don't worry, these things aren't lost to time. All you have to do is go outside and put the phone down and you can do these things too. Ever wonder why so many old folks sit in front of the TV so much? And before the TV, they'd sit around the radio. The people on public transport couldn't bury their heads in cell phones, so everyone buried their heads in newspapers. Distracting ourselves with media is kind of timeless. Before I got married and had kids in my mid-20s, I spent time with friends. Game nights, bars, playing pool, other social events. I had a very busy social and dating life. High school had landlines and walking around the mall, eating in the food court, and a movie. 20s were landlines, drinks, darts, and pool. The true difference was there was something to talk about, because without instant communication, you had to tell your buddies or actually face-to-face flirt with the opposite sex. Biggest advantage was if you did it well, it led to pretty much immediate physical contact. Hand-holding, kissing, etc. Reading, television, hanging out with friends, bike riding. I went to a lot more movies, and I have to admit, my house was a lot cleaner, with no fear of being recorded and it ending up on YouTube. This sounds like a very Karen worry out in the world, though I'm not saying that they are, it's just the vibe I'm getting. 50 years old. So I was in my 20s during the 90s. All free time was spent skateboarding, playing punk music, or drinking/getting laid. Didn't own a TV till my 30s. I don't know why I gave you like southern accent, sorry. Nintendo 64. That sounds like what I would have been up to. What do you do after you first wake up? Hit snooze and go right back to sleep. Roll around in bed for 30 minutes and then join my morning Zoom meeting just in the nick of time. Try to go back to sleep. Do you really have to try at that point? Drink water. Sorry, not everyone can be like you. Step 1, denial. Step 2, bargaining. 3, anger. 4, depression. 5, acceptance. I never get to 5. It's too much work. Rub my balls. I too rub this guy's balls. How does it feel to be living my dream? Literally fart. A big one. Okay, I guess. And so I wake up in the morning and 1, step outside, and 2, I take a deep breath, and 3, I get real high, and 4, I scream from the top of my lungs, "What's going on?" Sit on the side of the bed, chug some cold water, and cry. The Halloween season is upon us. What horror film do you recommend? I said Barbarian a while ago, so this one is gonna be It Follows. That movie just gets under my skin. It's so creepy. The Shining. Alright, for the time, yeah, it probably was scary. To me, no. Shaun of the Dead. My first R-rated movie. Ooh, solid pick. The Thing is mandatory watching for me around Halloween. Absolutely. #1 classic, and if you like Among Us, that's where they got the idea. Original Halloween. We watch it every Halloween. Rosemary's Baby, 1968, is an absolutely stunning horror movie. It's even pretty light on jump scares and gore if you're squeamish. Despite that, it's creepy as hell and even quite profound. That said, it's not exactly Halloween-y, if you know what I mean. It doesn't have that autumnal, pagan, magical, orange and black quality to it. I'm actually drawing a little blank on movies that really capture capture the vibe of the season. But The Vivitch would be a decent example. Cabin in the Woods, amazing pick, and it's mostly a comedy that kind of just picks apart the tropes of horror movies. The Exorcist, it's every bit as disturbing as it was when it came out. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, in fact, go ahead and watch The Witch's Ghost and The Cyber Chase to complete the holy trio. The modern remake of Zombie Island is trash. The original is fucking lit. Not exactly horror, but Coraline. Always Coraline. The Other Mother still freaks me out to this day, even though like I'm, a 23-year-old man. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Still haven't watched this one. It's not because I don't like clowns or anything, I don't know. Who is the best example of you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain? Fritz Haber. He discovered a way to synthesize ammonia from nitrogen and hydrogen gas, which is crucial for fertilizers. He was also later employed by Germany during World War I to find a way to weaponize chlorine, thus becoming the father of chemical warfare after successfully doing so. Basically, he saved billions and killed millions. My dad. He was always against the HOA in our neighborhood. Long story short, he wrote an apparently strong-worded letter about all the changes he would make, rules he would enforce, etc. There happened to be a vacancy up for grabs, and he ended up as the president. Now he walks around the neighborhood b***ing about everyone else's yards. A whole load of these examples prove that it's not you become the villain, it's that eventually your secret villainy gets found out. Kevin Spacey would have gone down as an acting legend. Still can't believe he really just tried saying, oh no, it's okay, I'm gay, so that's why it's alright. Like, come on, man. Chrome vs. Explorer. People forgot, but Chrome was once viewed as the heroic frontier market breakers. I just hope Firefox will die a hero. Facebook. When it first came about, it was seen as a safe social media because you had to have a student ID to make an account. It was for high school and college students only. Parents/adults at the time were worried about their kids having contact with adult predators on MySpace following many horror stories from AIM and MySpace interactions. Now it's a show of adults posting 24/7 and kids lying about their age to get an account. Data mining users, normalization of sharing personal data, and the company not giving a shit about online safety. The biggest crime is that the social network almost tries to phrase it that Zuckerberg is like a sympathetic character when no. Jared from Subway. Absolutely disgusting human being, he deserves more than just 15 years. O.J. Simpson. The craziest thing is that man jokes about it now. Married people of Reddit, what's something you wish unmarried people knew? Being married shouldn't take away from having a good relationship with yourself. It's okay to use 2 blankets. No one likes to wake up with cold cheeks because your spouse stole the blanket. The wedding is just one day and does not fix any issues. It goes back to the exact same relationship afterwards. And if you're lucky, that's a good thing. A gracious, heartfelt apology goes a long way. Common values matter way more than common interests. It's better to stay single forever than to marry the wrong person. In my own opinion, I think marriage is a scam. Just move in with the person you like, and if things don't work out, oh well, it's not like you have to go to court. Film snobs of Reddit, who was the single worst casting choice in Hollywood film history? John Wayne as Genghis Khan. Who thought that was a good idea? I waited almost 30 years for a Morbius, the living vampire film. Then they cast Leto. James Corden in Cats. James Corden in anything, really. The cast for The Last Airbender. The acting alone was enough to make it the worst movie of that year. I mean, I've seen better acting in Liberty Mutual commercials. Oh, and those are bad. I'm not a film snob, but Jared Leto as the Joker stands out as a WTF choice. I feel so bad for his castmates because he was a literal maniac on set and off set. Steven Seagal as anything, I think. Luckily, he only casts himself in his own movies, so we're safe. Mark Wahlberg in The Happening. I'm not sure any casting choice could have made that movie not suck, but I couldn't believe for even a second that Wahlberg was just a dorky science teacher trying to survive. I'm gonna amend that. I think Mark Wahlberg in the Uncharted movie as Sully. What were they thinking? Valerian with Cara Delevingne. She had no feelings and zero chemistry with the other main character, Dane DeHaan, who I've also never seen in another movie. Worst casting ever. I think Dane does a pretty good job in the other movies he's in. I mean, minus Spider-Man a little bit, but yeah. Kristen Stewart in Snow White and the Huntsman. Oh my god, I forgot about that movie. Pretty much everyone in the Netflix Death Note movie. Oh yeah, what were they thinking? Like, Netflix, really? Get it together. What is something ancient that only an internet veteran can remember? Signing the guest book on sites and traffic/visitor counters. Putting a counter on your own website and refreshing the page a whole bunch of times. I mean, people would do that on Tumblr, so it's not that old. Passworded website chat rooms where the password was in the HTML source, so it was accessible by anybody that could do more than left click. Yahoo was a list of websites, then became a major search engine, then dominated email, maps, message groups, chat, instant messenger, news, dating. Now it barely survives. Browser software on 3.5-inch floppy disks taped to the front of PC magazines. The instant household rage because someone picked up the phone. Good old dial-up, baby. It is now safe to turn off your computer. Slowly watching the image you wanted to see load one line at a time. The hamster dance, according to Merriam-Webster. Hamster dance is not that old, come on now. ASL? For the kids out there that don't know what this means, it means American Sign Language. And that's it, don't go looking it up. What movie ending is horribly depressing? 7. Oh, that one's so rough. The ending of American History X hit me pretty hard the first time. Hate is Baggage. Bridge to Terabithia. I saw that movie as a kid and rewatched it last year, and again, I cried like a bitch. Hey, you're not a bitch, okay? That movie gets us all. The Fox and the Hound. Oh no, don't bring those memories back. Memento is a singular movie to me where I thought it was brilliant and I never want to watch it ever again. Requiem for a Dream. My roommate said that movie messed her up, so I need to watch it soon. $1 Million Baby. I haven't watched it. I know it's like, what, a boxing movie? I don't know. What is something that your profession allows you to do that would otherwise be illegal? I test fire alarm systems, so I pull the pull stations all the time. Lucky, I always wanted to do that in school. I can carry scissors at the airport. Pass through airport security without a boarding pass. So you work at a McDonald's in the airport? I collect and catalog child sexual abuse materials after I break into people's cell phone and computers without their permission. Please tell me you work for the police or something, because otherwise, why are you holding on to it? Sticking my finger in people's asses. Debt collector? I know they're probably a doctor, but that's still just a weird sentence to say, I think. Touch bottoms of strangers. I mean, that's technically not illegal if you have their permission. Or are you saying you're allowed to touch people's bottoms without permission? Throw mixed chemical substances into a giant firebox without any hazmat suit. Grab strangers and throw them in the air. Russian political henchman? Ballet dancer. Part-time/guest artist, but it sounds cool. Which celebrities should just go away? Dr. Phil. Ever since I saw him treat the girl that didn't want to see her biological mother like that, I'm convinced he has some sort of god complex and a bit of an asshole. The way the audience cheered on Dr. Phil as he's laying into the girl is really uncomfy. The entire Kardashian clan and whomever they happen to be banging at any given time. Chris Brown. Thankfully, I haven't heard much about him in the past few years, but he should just go away. Nick Cannon. Did he do something bad? I'm kind of out of the loop. Caitlyn Jenner. People forget that she killed someone in 2015. Vehicular manslaughter. Killed 1 and injured 7. She's praised as a hero. It seems this barely even tarnished her reputation. I mean, South Park still kind of clowns her. Any celebrity that's a product pusher and controversial at the same time. We shouldn't be talking about them anymore. Britney Spears. Hear me out. She lived all those years under a team's thumb, but now she's free. She can go do anything she wants to do. Live her life as she sees fit. Unexpectedly wholesome. Leave Britney alone. Kanye West. Dude's not okay. He needs mental health help and for the media to stop romanticizing all of the crazy and toxic things he does. Every time I see him pop up with some new antics, I immediately run to the medicine cabinet to double check that I remembered to take my meds the night before. There have actually been a couple times where his goofy ass helped me keep from doing wacky shit myself by accident. I don't care how talented you think Kanye is, he needs to be, like, institutionalized or something, especially after his tweets recently. Good lord. Jared Leto! 100%. I mean, the dude literally made a cult. I would say Ellen, but her show was not picked up anymore, since everyone figured out she does not practice what she preaches. Most talk show hosts, especially James Corden, talk show hosts really just have a god complex because they get to talk to all of the other famous people. What is the weirdest thing someone has told you in confidence? I started a new job, and the lady at the desk next to me was this nice, older Christian lady, and she just sort of told me out of the blue that she had had surgery on her labia to look better because it was ugly. I didn't really know how to respond to that. There is no good response to that. I had a neighbor who wanted to buy a wife. He wanted to get surgery to get taller. He went on dates with men, realized he wasn't gay, just lonely. He was on a 7-year dry spell, no sex. ex, finally hits it and ghosts the girl because she was ugly. He ended 2 female friendships because they didn't ask him out. He got married for tax reasons and his wife left him for a Bernie bro. I don't know if I think he's toxic or sad or both. He also went to Yale and is a doctor. Oh my lord, that is a roller coaster for sure. I was in a park once, sitting maybe 10 feet away from a stranger. He asked me what hour it is, and once I told him, he used it as a way to start a small talk. I felt he was weird from the start. Then, word after word, I don't know how we reached the point of him telling me that there is no difference between swallowing your own saliva directly or spitting it out and then swallowing it again, and that he sometimes spits on his food just to prove this theory. At that point, the only thing that came to my mind is to stand and go. Sometimes I think the devs just like to give NPCs some quirky little dialogue. I sold cars. People told me all sorts. The one I remember is the guy that told me he was impotent. Why tell me? I had a guy that had eye cancer show me what was under his patch once as well. That was memorable. He liked to strip Barbie dolls naked, dip them in the bath, and suck the water out of their boobs. This was when we were in the 3rd grade together, and it was the second thing he told me after his name. I mean, at least he knows what he likes? I guess. That they lost a tampon inside themselves weeks earlier, and if I could help them look for it. Did you find it? There's a lot of weird stuff I'm down for, but that is not one of them, LMAO. I told her she needs a doctor ASAP due to the possibility of TSS. They found it and she was fine. When I was in school, a guy flat out told me that every time he saw me, he wanted to bite me. Not sure what to make of it. That they think Satan has been possessing them every once in a while, and then said that they had main character energy. Oh, they're one of those people. What's your unpopular rock music opinion? You can still enjoy and appreciate songs that aren't life-changing masterpieces. Basing your tastes and personality on what sucks is lame. That applies to every music genre, I think. It's okay to not like certain periods of a band. It doesn't make you less of a fan. Certain rock bands' secret for their it factor is just that they had a jazz drummer. They make decent tracks great and great tracks timeless. People care way too much about what genre a certain band or artist is. IDGAF if a band sells out or not. If I like their songs, I like their songs. Rock and metal can be as bland and soulless as shitty pop music. In fact, a lot of it is. Tattoos and electric guitar don't make you cool if you were singing about your sugar baby butterfly. A lot of gatekeepers in this genre. I went on metal memes for the first time and I learned that I only listen to poser bands. Way too many music snobs in the genre. Some people like Taylor Swift and One Direction. Get over it. Nothing worse than being at a gig and some douche is banging on about how no one here is a real fan who liked them before they were mainstream. Yeah, if everyone here was, you'd be in a tiny crowd and your favorite band probably wouldn't be making music anymore. I'll never understand gatekeeping music. If you like the band, you want them to be big, right?
What song takes way too long to get to the good part? Jack Sparrow by The Lonely Island. Now back to the good part. Freebird by Lynyrd Skynyrd. It takes like 5 minutes before they play the best part. The first 5 minutes aren't too bad either though. Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight. Skip to 3 minutes 15 seconds for the drums to kick in. That new Nickelback song takes 3 minutes and 53 seconds to get to the good part. Let me guess. That's how long this song is. Yeah, it is. Oh, come on. Nickelback's not that bad, guys. Come on. Get over yourself. Stop hating because it's popular to hate. Seabat, Hudson Mohawk, Baby Shark. I'm still waiting to find the good bit my daughter laughs at. I think we're all waiting for the good part. Grandpa Shark is the good bit. 2015 was 7 years ago. What trends have quietly faded into obscurity since then? This will be a trip down memory lane for me. Iggy Azalea. Yeah, I haven't really heard much from them since then. Selfie sticks. Big trend at concerts, festivals, and weddings, and now we've all just switched back to finding the longest arm. Random internet people becoming popular enough for a short time to guest on Ellen for no real reason. Like Alex from Target. Yeah, Alex from Target, Damn Daniel, all of them. On Fleek, Vines, well, because Vine's dead. I am a firm believer that if Vine did not get shut down, it'd still be very popular nowadays. The blue and black versus white and gold dress debate. Well, the answer is blue and black. I'm sorry. Unexpected John Cena. That was one of the best memes. Oh my god, I loved that one. Shia LaBeouf screaming, just do it. Hipster culture? I'm not sure if it's still a thing or not, but seemed big when I was younger. Watching BuzzFeed videos and doing quizzes. Guys, what Disney princess are you? Fill out this quiz below. I'm lying. there's no quiz. How many people here actually lived in 2015? Seeing comments like Harlem Shake, TikTok, fidget spinners, or Ugandan knuckles. All wrong. Harlem Shake was 2013, TikTok was 2018, fidget spinners was 2016, I think. Fidget spinners might have been 2017. Ugandan knuckles was 2016 or 2017. 2017. Yeah, Ugandan knuckles was 2017. Hotline bling. It carried on in meme culture after 2015, but it's not super popular nowadays. Being able to comfortably pay my rent. The Whip and Nay Nay. Awful song. Colorful skinny jeans and denims. Miley, what's good? Celebrity beef. It's just simply the worst. Bottle flips. Bottle flips are still fun. I do bottle flips all the time still. Just like if I see a bottle that's like almost finished, I'll flip it and then I'll drink it. What song lyrics hit you the hardest? You can get addicted to a certain kind of sadness. Wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then. Under the surface, I'm pretty sure I'm worthless if I can't be of service. Most of these songs I don't know what they're from, so I'm just speaking the lines. I'm sorry. Feel free to tell me what they are in the comments section. In the clearing stands a boxer and a fighter by his trade, and he carries the reminders of every glove that laid him down and cut him till he cried out in his anger and his shame. I am leaving, but the fighter still remains. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? We gotta make a decision, leave tonight or live and die this way. I wish I was special. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I ever had. Mr. Brightside, I don't get how people can really party to it. What older horror movie, 40 plus years old, still holds up? Alien is over 40 now, it's still a fucking killer. The original Black Christmas and the opening for When a Stranger Calls. Yeah, and Carrie. The Changeling. The Thing. The Shining. In fact, the older it gets, the creepier it feels. Those zero CGI horror flicks definitely have a different feel from some of the modern ones. The Overlook feels eerie, even if nothing scary had happened. No one has mentioned my favorite, Night of the Living Dead. Still scares me. Poltergeist. The Exorcist still holds up to this day. Maybe it's the whole religious aspect, but I still know people who refuse to watch it again, even after seeing it years ago. What's some basic knowledge that a scary amount of people don't know? How to merge in traffic. How long it takes a semi-truck to stop. How to tell if food has gone bad. When I worked in a meat department, we got like one call a day from people saying, I bought this X days ago. Is it still good? Lady, I'm not there with you. This ain't a smellophone. You're gonna have to use your own senses and brain on this one. That the scientific meaning of theory isn't what the colloquial sense means. First aid. How to spot an obvious scam. Look how many people fall for those clickbait articles and chain posts and propaganda and stuff. Antibiotics do not work on a virus. Evidence-based reasoning and what evidence means. Prove it. What about you prove it? Nope. What about you prove it? Don't bother wild animals. I'm sure it's just natural selection at this point, but the amount of stupid people I see walking up to wild creatures for video footage is irritating. Bonus point if the human gets hurt. That you should wait for people to get off the elevator when it arrives at your floor instead of cramming yourself in when the doors open, blocking their departure. And keep walking when you go through a door to step off an escalator. If you could remove one thing from the world, what would it be? Greed. Easily the best option. It'd solve so many problems all at once. Allergies. So many people will be thankful for the day that all allergies suddenly disappeared. Also, this means mosquito bites will not be itchy anymore, because we are allergic to the mosquito spit they inject us with. Bed bugs. I was gonna say nuclear weapons, but yeah, bed bugs. Poverty. It would solve an insane amount of other problems as well. Problems? Hey, short and to the point. Greg. You know what you did, Greg. The live-action Last Airbender film. Barriers that stop me from being able to use magic. Weekly repeated questions on r/AskReddit. Putin. Gonna be Putin a stop to that. Sorry. The root of all evil. Destiny? The U2 album Gifted by Apple that keeps coming back a decade later. The internet post 2004. Keep email and Wikipedia, ditch the rest. No thanks. I'd be out of a job. What are the most annoying corporate buzzwords or phrases that you're sick of? Our workers are part of our family. Or something along the lines of that. Yeah, no they're not. Just an excuse to be able to treat your coworkers and employees like garbage. We have values. No you don't. Willing to work in a fast-paced environment. Ends up in a cubicle. Take a more holistic approach. A classic. If I knew what holistic means, I could make a joke about this. When someone refers to a request as an ask, and everything is an issue, must have excellent communication skills. What if they're just great communication skills, huh? Guess I'm screwed. It amazes me how many people can spew so much horse and not even say a damn thing. Just recently, my manager started saying, does anyone have the bandwidth to help out? Every time I see or hear it, I get closer to destroying my computer. But do you have the bandwidth though? I love corporate buzzwords. You can send emails which sound intelligent without actually saying anything and just confuse everyone. It's especially funny if you are ESL working in an English-speaking country, doing the needful for us all. Resources to describe human beings. You're twice as likely to disappear under mysterious circumstances if you refer to someone as a resource while they're sitting in a meeting with you. You can give one non-flying animal, apart from humans, the ability to fly. Which animal do you choose to maximize chaos? Penguin. Their rage has gone unchecked far too long. Giraffes, cause let's just make them weirder. Pigs. Whole lot of people will have to eat their words. Sloth. I don't know if they'd be able to flap their wings fast enough to fly. Bears. Grizzly for that lovely plus of violence. Hippos. Kangaroos. Imagine one of those kicking in your bedroom window in the middle of the night. Cats. Or birds. Whales. If I have to get specific, blue whales. You're gonna take the world's largest mammal currently and give it wings to make it fly? How is that a good idea? You tell me. Snakes. No thanks. Bulls. Specifically red ones. They would just give them away. Yeah, because they'd give everyone wings. Yeah, that's the joke. Piranhas? Well, they are fish, so they probably wouldn't last out of the ocean very fast. Great white sharks. Centipedes. Can you imagine one of those flying at you at 20 miles per hour? What's a movie that bombed at the box office but was actually good? The Shawshank Redemption. The Thing. Office Space. Idiocracy 2. Mike Judge doesn't tend to do well at the box office, but his films sure do have long-term relevance. There are hundreds, but Blade Runner comes to my mind at first. Treasure Planet. Contender for the best animated movie ever. Up there with The Iron Giant. The Edge of Tomorrow. Grandma's Boy. It's a Wonderful Life is probably the biggest example of this. It was an absolute flop at the box office. It almost killed the studio that made it. At one point, there was some debate about ownership of it, and nobody wanted it, so TV networks could air it without paying anyone. That's when it started getting shown on TV constantly around Christmas. It gained its status as one of the best Christmas movies of all time. Hook. It flopped at the box office and has 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I will always love that movie. Princess Bride. Which fast food will you not eat and why? I was a victim of the Chipotle E. coli outbreak. Never again. Subway. It smells weird. KFC. Their quality went way down. The chicken is way small for its high price. As a Canadian, I'm gonna put this out there. Tim Hortons. Burned coffee. The factory-made pastry products. Bagels are pretty bad as well. Taco Bell. I was in one when my brother died 17 years ago. I had a really good pizza, and now normal pizza is no longer good enough for me. Chick-fil-A. Dairy Queen. Went to order an ice cream cake with my mom, and she saw one of the employees wash the dishes, take out the garbage, and make the food all with the same gloves. Ew! What? I'm gonna throw up, I think. That's disgusting. Jimmy John's, because the owner of the company is a huge twat and is just so bland. What is your favorite gas station snack? Me personally, I'm a big corn nuts guy, specifically the ranch ones. I'm sure every one I eat is another 2 years off my life, but god damn it, there is something about gas station hot dogs that are just incredible. Pizza pretzel combos and a Pepsi. Iced honey buns. The beef stick, cheese stick combo pack. I would, but I lactose. Peach O-rings. They are so good and addicting, and you can't eat just a few. The whole bag is required. Lifesaver gummies. Am I the only one who loves Funyuns? Haven't gotten it since before the pandemic, but my 100% go-to treat from a gas station while on the road were the peanut butter Twix bars. Team Corn Nuts, represent. You know, Corn Nuts actually follows me on Twitter. Twitter is at SaysMasonLive, by the way. Andy Capp's cheese fries. Almost impossible to find, but they always smack. Combos. I love them. You find yourself on stage with a microphone. You must entertain a crowd for the next 20 minutes. What do you do? Welcome to the show, guys. Thank you all for coming. Please give a warm welcome to this guy from the audience. Then just sit down. Ha ha ha. Giga Chad. Tell the timing joke. What's the key to a good joke? Wait 20 minutes in silence. Timing. Then walk away. Tell a story and hope it goes well. Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped turned upside down. Perform Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory album start to finish. Braver than I am. Well, here goes my first attempt at stand-up comedy. Snacks and cigarettes are available in the lobby. The main show will begin in 20 minutes. While we wait, here's Wonderwall. What truth about life is scarier the more you think about it? Guys, I don't want to have an existential crisis today. Really not feeling it. Here we go. Your life can be plucked from you, or anyone, anything you love in just one moment. The blink of an eye even, and you have no control over it. I think it's kind of scary and crazy that unless you become famous or notable in some way, that there will be a point in the future where not one living person on Earth will ever even have known you existed. We're wasting our best years staring at a computer for paper we tell ourselves is valuable, all while knowing that no matter how hard we work, our children will still have to suffer the same thing in an endless cycle controlled by the people on top. The rich and famous have different laws than normal people and get away with more. If a random person felt like it, they could just kill you. What is your most awkward encounter with a celebrity? Went to an LA Kings hockey game. Had great seats right down by the ice. Steven Spielberg was right in front of me. I noticed him but left him alone. Late in the game, the Kings scored a go-ahead goal. It was very exciting and I started trading high fives with people around me. In my zeal, I put up my hand by Steven Spielberg. He looked appalled and left my high five hanging there. Very awkward. Working on a reality TV show, filming at Sundance. Went to a party in the evening hosted by Sting, and at some point, went to the bathroom and started to use the urinal. Mid-piss, someone pushes in next to me, literally pressing me out of the way and starts pissing in the same urinal. I'm thinking, who the hell does something like this? I look up, meet eye to eye with a rather inebriated Sting. So yeah, cross streams with Sting when I crashed a Sundance party and missed the opportunity of a lifetime to tell Sting not to stand so close to me. I once had a conversation with Colin Firth about asthma and carpets. I learned that his wife is asthmatic. He was pretty chill. I'm a dwarf, so I'm used to people being awkward around me more than anything, but he was pretty much exactly how he is on screen. Stephen Merchant, on the other hand, actually signed his autograph for me while using my head as a writing surface. The guy is bold and brass, but I loved it. It's refreshing to meet people who don't walk on eggshells around me. I wouldn't be surprised if his time with Warwick Davis had desensitized him. Standing in front of a hotel with Will Ferrell, awkwardly looking at him, recognizing that I recognized him. He was cool though. I, however, was not. Was at a funeral with Stevie Wonder for a mutual acquaintance, and my dad awkwardly went up and was like, Mr. Wonder, I love your music. It affected my life a lot when I was younger, and it was just painful. Worked security for the rich and famous in the late 90s in Arizona. Had to pull duty at the main entrance. No one was around. Usually people did not walk around the entrance. They drove though. I was blasting System of a Down while doing my college homework. Out of nowhere, Sandra Bullock walks up to me and asks, what band am I listening to, and why are they so angry? I was in shock. I apologized and turned my radio down. I thought I was going to lose my job. She smiled and casually walked away. Bro, Sandra Bullock flirted with you. I was once at a party where I saw Rihanna. I tried to talk to her, but she was surrounded by a group of people and I couldn't get her attention. I ended up just standing there awkwardly until she left. Your fault, OG. Not mine, but my ex-wife once peed on John Bon Jovi. She was 2 years old. Her uncle did charter fishing tours, and I guess he was into it at that time. They asked if he wanted to see the baby. He held her, and she picked that time to pee. My ex-wife gave John Bon Jovi a golden shower. Sounds like the headline of an article in Penthouse magazine. Jason Segel. I, a 43-year-old man, was then coming off my third run through the How I Met Your Mother, and was a huge fan. He was hanging out in a mall sort of thing in PA, and when I saw him, I didn't know what to do with myself. I wanted very badly to say hello like a normal human, tell him I was a huge fan, and maybe take a stupid picture with him. Instead, I stood there and side-eyed him like a goon, and tried to nerve myself up to go over and talk to him like 3 times. On the third attempt, he stood up to go to the bathroom, a fact I realized mid-flight, and made it look like I was actually headed to the bathroom myself, and then freaked out and broke off again when I realized how f***ed up it would seem if I followed him in. Ultimately, he took a very nice pic with my significant other's daughter, and I had to settle for telling this story to my friends. What video game had made you the most angry? Destiny 2, because I bought it for $60, and turns out that it's not the full game, and I have to buy the rest, and then the first part I bought becomes free. Flappy Bird. League of Legends. That's your fault for playing League of Legends. Cuphead made me say a lot of bad words. Like a lot. GTA Online, because of what it took from the single-player game. Progressively, the Battlefield franchise as it evolved further away from Battlefield and closer to Battle Royale and Call of Duty. As a kid, I f***ing hated the dog in Duck Hunt. I still hate that f***ing dog. World of Warcraft, because playing with randoms sucks most of the time. Rocket League. The kickoffs especially. You find a genie in a lamp, but he can only grant wishes that mildly annoys your enemies. What do you wish for? I'll just wish for $1 million then. My enemies will be mildly annoyed that I am now a millionaire, so that checks out. They feel a sneeze, but it never happens. You sick f***. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Whenever you open a packet of tablets, you get the end with the leaflet. Every traffic light turns red as they approach. My enemies to have a constant, uncurable itchy feeling on their assholes, genitals, and scalp. They'd spend the rest of their day either in constant state of annoyed or looking to all around them like a flea-ridden hobo as they itch their genitals and non-stop. They'll pull a bowl of cereal, but then realize they have no milk every single time. Imagine their surprise when they come back from the supermarket. Morning wood piss every time they go to the restroom. Even female enemies. Especially female enemies. Well, first, I will make some new enemies. Then I will wish that all of my enemies have to donate 5% of their income to me. Always having that pee drip when they leave the bathroom. Men, you know what I'm talking about. You monster. An unkillable and unstoppable fly constantly harasses them. I wish for nothing, for I have no enemies. Smile. Yeah, right. You know what? I'm your enemy. I'm your enemy now. What's something you recommend everyone try once in their life? Find out why you believe what you believe about subjects you feel strongly about. Trace back the best you can where your thoughts come from. Why do you think the things you think? Examine why do you think you know the truth about a particular subject. Go on a solo trip, living somewhere other than their hometown. It's a big world. Get out and explore. Move to a new state by yourself. It's such a satisfying feeling. Like it just feels natural, like in a primal, nomadic way. It helped me build confidence in myself, and you meet some really interesting people. New ideas and views on life really expanded your horizons. Swim in the ocean while it's raining. You feel reborn. The rain and the sea give off a special scent, and the feeling is wonderful. Lightning goes zap. Hey, no lightning, just the rain. Visiting the Great Barrier Reef between June and October, Australia's winter and spring. Get a job as a server at a restaurant and salesperson in a retail store. I will forever be kind and understanding to the people helping me. I've been there, done that, and it's difficult. Paying for the next person in line. Don't post it, don't tell anyone, and don't wait for a thank you. Make something. Music, poem, a story, art. Creative creation is one of the most fulfilling feelings there is to life. This is the one that speaks to me the most. I'm writing a story right now for a fake Pokemon region I'm making, and it is some of the most fulfilling, rewarding brain feel that I've had in a very long time. Highly recommend writing a story or music or anything. Take a long walk in the forest, naked. It's one hell of a feeling. Why? No, that's illegal. It's public nudity, you stupid. Lumpia. Filipino food is the most underrated food in the world. It should be up there with Mexican, Chinese, and Italian. If the world tasted Filipino food, there would be a lumpia food truck right next to every taco truck. If you could introduce one new law effective tomorrow, what would you pick? I would pick that everyone legally has to subscribe to this channel. If you're not subscribed, what are you doing? It's now illegal to be unsubscribed to Ask EmKay. Insurance companies are not allowed to deny any medication your doctor recommends. It's illegal for networks to cancel TV shows without giving a one-season notice for writers to finish off the series with a finale with real closures. No Pete Davidson Taco Bell ads. Fines are based on income. No more double and unskippable ads. No more ads. A limit on the number of dwellings any one person or corporation can own. No one under the age of 13 can use the internet. Reading these makes me very glad that Redditors aren't in charge. Guys, can't wait for the first Redditor president. Obey me, all people, always, all the time. You're a freak. Go away. The wealthy have to pay their taxes. If $1 million dropped into your lap tonight, what are you doing? I'm buying a house. I'm buying a house, quitting my job, paying off my car, and investing the rest. Calling the Weather Channel and reporting that God or someone up there is making it rain. I'll use part of the money to fix the hole in my ceiling where the money fell in. Google money laundering and try to figure out how to do crime. Your mom. Then I'll invest the other $999,999.99. Looking up to see where it came from. Zimbabwe dollars? Buy a potato or something. Give it to someone more responsible and can help me manage it. Go to the hospital. $1 million in cash is quite some weight, and having it dropped on your lap is almost guaranteed to break it. I'd resign from my job and start traveling.
What songs are you playing on repeat these days? Show Me How to Live by Audioslave. Audioslave is great. The Show Must Go On by Pink Floyd. Nobody by Nas. Priscilla's song from The Witcher. Oh, interesting. A game soundtrack kind of girl. Adieu by Rammstein. I do think the only Rammstein song I know is Du Hast, and that's all I'll ever learn. I'm going through another Hosier phase. Like, Shrike is one I just rediscovered. Other than that, look up Lost on You by LP. They aren't that famous, but definitely should be. Sinner Man by Nina Simone. Girls by the 1975. Bo Burnham songs. He really puts something in there, and I don't know what it is. Recently found out Taylor Swift covered September by Earth, Wind & Fire. It is the greatest thing I've heard in a long time. Colors by Black Pumas. Iris covered by Grace Davies. What's a trend you despise? People always recording everything. That's not a horrible trend because it does help a lot of people, though I do wish, since we have good cameras, you should film the aliens you see without shaking your camera, please. Fixation on narcissistic social media culture. Randomly recording strangers in public for likes and views for sure. But if they are throwing a tantrum and they're like 40 years old, please keep recording those because, oh, I eat that up. TikTok dances. You know, there really haven't been many new dances that I'm aware of, at least on my For You page. This trend of cutting the video off at the exact second the big thing happens in it. Like somebody throwing a bunch of fireworks into a garbage can and sitting on the lid. Then right when an explosion looks like it's shooting the dude up in the air with the lid, it cuts. I just don't get why people do that or like that. Just show the whole thing that happened. Yeah, the whole perfectly cut shot thing has kind of gone downhill. Disney movie remakes. They really don't need to. It's just a cash grab at that point. Cringe. That is so cringe. He is so cringe. I think cringe as an insult has kind of died out at this point, so I think we're good. Cancel culture and exposing. I really find it unnecessary to completely destroy someone's life, job, safety completely over a mistake they made for a quick laugh. Like, it's all fun and games for them until they themselves get exposed. I do think it's important to expose people if they are an actual horrible human being, but I do think a lot of people just jump to witch hunt so quickly. Broccoli Zoomer haircut. I still don't really know what this means, but I guess I get it. Anything Among Us related. Sounds like something the imposter would say. People explicitly copying African American linguistic styles and calling it social media lingo. How we made that logical leap and accept it is weird to me. What first-hand experience would you not wish upon your worst of enemies? Having really good sex. Oh yeah, of course. Why would I want my greatest enemies to have really good sex? I'm just trying to save them. A hemorrhoidectomy. Imagine every time you poop, you're breaking open scabs all the way around your butthole and it feels like you're pooping glass shards. Oh god, I've felt that before. Did I have hemorrhoids? 4th degree burns all over your body. It feels like you're actively on fire for months. It would just not be humane to want anyone to go through that. Gout. This reminds me that I don't really know what gout is, so I'm a little nervous. If you knew my worst enemies, you'd understand understand why I have no such limitations. Gallstone attacks. Horrendous. Keeping my fingers crossed that I don't have to go to the doctor soon. Jamming your little toe right into a sharp corner when your feet are cold. Oh no, the cold feet really just adds that extra level of ow. Receiving a severed head or gun rack as a gift. The gun rack threw me off. I don't know if that's a reference or not. Teachers of Reddit, what's the funniest excuse for being late, not doing homework, etc. you've heard from a student? I was late once because someone threw my bike in a tree. There was no room in the rack, so I just threaded the lock through the frame and both wheels. Someone might have tried to steal it and then got frustrated when it wouldn't ride and threw it up in a fucking tree. It took me a while to get it down and untangle the bike lock, but luckily I had a photo of it in the tree to show my professor. Not gonna lie, Mr. G, I got in an argument with blank in the hall. He wants to fight me at lunch. I don't want to you out, but I'd lose that. Can you come stop him before he starts? Sure. 9th graders are wild. I appreciate his honesty. I had the same kid tell me twice that his dog ate his Chromebook. He said he used his Chromebook as a plate to eat a steak and the dog ate it. You know, kids just, I don't even know. Not a teacher, but I remember in 7th grade, a kid walked in a few minutes late and the teacher asked why. Kid said he was looking for a screwdriver because his belt broke. Teacher said he wasn't buying it and told the kid to sit down. Kid said fine, took 2 steps, then his pants fell to his ankles in front of everyone. It was fucking hilarious and perfectly timed comedically. Once one of my classmates was late because their pufferfish had escaped. Oh god, no, it got out? My first year teaching, it was 4th grade, and one student informed me that she hadn't done her reading the night before because we had pizza for dinner. It's been 20 years and I'm still confused. Priorities were in order. What is confusing? The kid's homework sheet was ripped in half. He said his sheep ate it. I asked why he had his homework outside with the sheep, and he said he didn't. The sheep was in his kitchen. I asked why, and he said they usually let it in the house. He said this in a tone that was like, duh. So later, I asked another kid, who lived next door to this kid, if his neighbor really had sheep in his kitchen. He's like, yeah, that's why my mom doesn't let me eat dinner over there anymore. She thinks it's unsanitary. It is very bizarre, but I mean, people do got strange pets. Cows got out last night and I had to chase them home all night. I knew the kid in the family, so it wasn't a lie. Good kid was obviously tired. I told him not to worry about missed homework. What thing a person did something that instantly made you think, pass, asked me to pay their $500 phone bill before we even physically met. Username checks out. She claimed she had visions of my future and was happy to report that she saw good financial success for me that year. It was a blind date and within the first 30 minutes of meeting and talking to her. Nope. Also, that year I lived with my parents and lost my job. So she fucking lied. Had disgusting oral hygiene and breath bad enough to knock out an elephant. A couple of years ago, I was standing in line at the Cheesecake Factory waiting to get a couple of slices to go. A very attractive woman was standing in front of me and my friend, and we debated whether or not I should try and start a conversation with her. She gets called up next into the line and immediately launches into an angry rant at the staff about how incompetent they were because she got the wrong whipped cream on her cheesecake. I have always believed that how one treats the waiter indicates the kind of person you are, and I lost any desire I had to talk to her after that tirade. Someone commenting too much about how I dress. Yeah, that's kind of just picking at a potential insecurity, so was chatted up by a cute boy at a bar. We introduced ourselves and he proceeded to tell me proudly that he'd just gotten kicked out of an Applebee's for cussing out the bartender. I hope Kyle has gotten help and is doing well. Getting kicked out of an Applebee's is one thing, and then to brag about it to people is a little crazy. Shouting, "No, Muffin, Mommy needs sex!" at the dog as it jumps on the bed and pees on the duvet. Do you know the Muffin Mum? What are your life goals for people who don't plan on having kids? Make enough money to be comfortable and also be able to support my friends if they need it. F*** around and die, as one does. Retire early, travel, and poop in private. Have you been pooping publicly this whole time? I don't have any major goals. Not going to put pressure on myself to achieve this or that. Life is not a competition for me. As long as I'm happy enough, then I'm happy enough. Goals are overrated. I try to have fun, take care of my hobbies, and not make plans if at all possible. Good career so I can have money for a whole jungle. My parents didn't let me have pets growing up, so it backfiring now. No kids here and probably 20 years before we retire. We just live a fun life like anyone. We just have more time, flexibility, and savings potential. Surviving, doing things that make me happy, and minding my own business. business, as everyone else should. Have a cat, live alone, and have fun while at it. Spend my time writing books. I like that. That's very pure. What's the best documentary you ever watched? Very hard pick, so let's see what people said. Maybe not the best, but easily in my top 5s is There's Something Wrong with Aunt Diane. 3 Identical Strangers. Do not read or watch anything about it until after you watch the film. Crazy twists and turns. Grizzly Man. Let me guess, it's about a guy who plays around with bears or like lives in the woods or something, right? Paradise Lost from HBO. Planet Earth. Pretty much anything narrated by Attenborough. Highly recommend the docuseries Wild Wild Country. I wish I could experience what I felt watching that for the first time again. I'd have to say Free Solo. Aside from the climbing footage, the part where he had a brain scan and learned about his high fear threshold has stuck with me. Absolutely recommend Free Solo. It's so fascinating and really intense. The Fire Festival documentary was pretty wild and enjoyed it a good bit. But which one did you watch? Because there were 2 versions. There was one on Hulu and one on Netflix. Searching for Sugar Man. Tell Me Who I Am on Netflix. Absolutely shocking watch. I knew the reveal was going to be terrible, but it was even worse than I expected. What movie should people watch without looking up anything about it? Recently, I would say Barbarian. That movie, oh my god. The Game with Michael Douglas. Ironically, a quote from this movie sums up my stance. I envy you. I wish I could go back and do it for the first time, all over again. Here's to new experiences. Titanic. Man, you would not believe what happens to that boat. For real. I heard the ship is unsinkable. I hope they get to their destination safe. Pretty much all of them. Seriously, who wants spoilers, for f***'s sake? Sixth Sense. The weird thing is, a lot of other movies spoiled Sixth Sense for me, so I haven't even watched it. The Room. When a friend told me to watch it with no prior knowledge, he framed it like this, and he was 100% right. After about 10 minutes, you'll be a bit bored. 15 minutes, you'll start to wonder why you were told to watch this. After 20 minutes, you'll start to feel confused, but for different reasons. 25 to 30 minutes, you really start to go, WTF. If you can make it that far without quitting, you're in. From Dusk Till Dawn. There's no way to explain that movie without ruining it. Inception. I somehow managed to go into the film knowing nothing about it apart from having seen the poster. Amazing experience. Parasite. You can't explain what it's about without spoiling like half the movie. It's one of those things that the best recommendation I can give is, dude, trust me. Everything Everywhere All at Once, Memento, Crash, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Several more, but these came to mind first. Oh god, what I would wish to be Eternal Sunshine so I could watch Eternal Sunshine again. The Truman Show. I still think it would be a great horror movie if it was only following Truman's perspective and not seeing the outside world. Not a movie, but Black Mirror's The National Anthem. Coco. You just want to cry really hard again, huh? Midsummer. I ended up seeing it in the cinema based only on the poster, and it was an experience to say the least. I ended up seeing Midsummer just on a whim because my roommates were like, hey, want to go see this movie? I was like, sure. No clue what it is, but fine. And then I got really high and really scared. The Bridge to Terabithia. Now, why would you recommend this movie? Do you want people to be broken? Children of Men. What is the sad truth about smart people? People tend to listen to confidence. The smart ones understand that they don't know everything, so they are usually more careful, thus meaning less confidence. Not enough of them. Ain't that the truth? The smartest people are also the most depressed in many circumstances. Well, call me Einstein then. They're usually outvoted by dumb people. Charles Bukowski said, the problem with the world is that smart people are full of doubts while the stupid ones are full of confidence. A lot of people considered smart are quite insecure and are convinced they are the worst in their company/field and feel they are just waiting to be found out. They are sad because there are too many idiots out there. Being smart is like a curse where you constantly see and predict things other people don't, but no one will believe you, aka Cassandra Complex. A lot of young smart people are lazy underachievers because some things come easily to them. At later stages of education, they struggle because they've never had to actually put effort in their learning. What's the best thing you do for your mental health? Pretend you are your own child. Weird concept, but hear me out. That negative self-talk that's beating you down, would you speak to a child like that? What would you say to your inner child if someone told them they were an idiot or were fat or were useless or unloved? Practice a little kindness towards yourself. I'm trying hard to do this, and this concept helps me extend compassion toward myself. I have started going on daily runs outside. Sometimes I just walk. I have had horrible depression since I was a young teenager, and this has been been the greatest help. I don't always have the energy, but just sitting outside helps my mental health. P.S. Sunscreen saves lives, particularly your skin cells' lives. I agree with this. I walk and it always improves my mood. I do think this is good, but it is hard to muster up the strength and courage to go outside sometimes. Sleep 7 to 8 hours a day. I prioritize 8 hours of sleep over everything else. It makes such a huge difference. But what if I just like sleeping 3 hours a night? Have a routine. You know, that's what people told me to do with ADHD, and that didn't work. Leave when I get tired of people. My parents would always talk how I never join them in family gatherings or go out with friends. I forced myself to be social, and now I realize that I like it, but have a limit that I shouldn't pass. The moment I feel like no longer socializing, I'll leave, or if I can't, I'll step out for a while, then come back. I told my friends, and they accepted that, and will actually go with me on a silent walk. They won't start conversation with me during this time because they know I'm drained. Hell yeah, that's awesome that your friends are on board with it. Those are some real ones right there. Removing social media and go to the gym or for a run. Fucking social media destroyed my brain. Oh yeah, Twitter was already bad for my attention span, but now TikTok? Oh god. Going for a hike. There really is something regenerative about being out in nature. Get off social media. Literally leave social media. Okay, Jesus, I'll get out of here then. Stay away from people as much as I can. Not overcommit myself. I never want to say no to anything up front, so I end up saying yes to everything and letting people down at the last minute and being an asshole. So saying no saves them that disappointment, even though it eats me up. It's not as bad to say no up front as it is to let someone down later. Who is that one fictional character that can always put you in a good mood? Mr. Bean. Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. Oh god, if I could do a Stitch impression, I would, but I can't. Baymax. He's just such a fun little funky guy. He just wants to help. Toothless. Toothless is basically just if a cat was a dragon. Kronk in Emperor's New Groove. Guy sings his own theme song. We should all have that much confidence. Moomin. I absolutely love the look of Moomin. I just need to figure out where to actually watch it because it looks so cute. Patrick from SpongeBob. No, this is Patrick. Snoopy from Peanuts. Love that dog. Homer Simpson. He really is a family guy. Forrest f***ing Gump. Had a lot of shitty situations throughout life and always had a great attitude. What's the most useless thing that you've ever bought? The groceries that go bad in my fridge or pantry before I get around to using them. And if you're anything like me, you do that every couple weeks. Bought insurance for my camera should it ever be stolen. Never once or since have I bought insurance like that. My camera was eventually stolen at work and I had a police report filed along with footage of the incident. The insurance company was unreachable. Their phone number disconnected. Oh, I love fake insurance, even though insurance as a whole is kind of fake. A full-size pool table with all the accessories, including a display case for the cues, racks, and balls, plus a special pool table lamp to hang overhead. Shortly after it arrived, we had to move. The new place had no room for it. Anyone remember buying sea monkeys? Right? And then they find them in your dead teacher's stomach and you have to flee to Mexico. r/suspiciously specific. Yeah, what the hell are you talking about? Toast in a cafe. I have a toaster. What was I thinking? I dropped 1,000 USD on a custom STL file to print a mini for D&D that I used once. It was a few years ago and my group still won't let it go. A 2020 calendar. Oh, buddy. My exercise bike, unfortunately. A season pass to a theme park I never used. I feel that I accidentally did that to a ski resort because I thought, I'll go a lot more this year, and then I didn't go once and it was a waste of $300. What is the most toxic fan base? Football fans. Soccer. Yeah, seemingly in the UK, they take that a lot more seriously than even Americans with our regular football. Andrew Tate. I know I'm beating a dead horse, but I only recently had to hear about him and some of his bullshit. If my hopefully soon-to-be former roommate is any indication of what his fans are like, then I hope the younger ones pull their heads out of their asses sooner than later for their own sake. I'm so glad I haven't heard about him in months, but Jesus, there are so many copycats and I'm terrified for the new generation. Tesla fans. I say this as a huge EV supporter. I honestly hate Teslas because they're supposed to be advertised as like, oh, it's the future, everyone everyone should drive electric cars, yet all of them are like luxury vehicles that no one can afford. So what's the point? K-pop stans. Weirdly, I haven't seen a lot of K-pop discourse on Twitter recently, so maybe things have changed? Fans of the word toxic. All they are doing is looking for someone to pick on. Bullies by any other name are still bullies. I don't know what you mean. Toxic is great. Britney Spears killed it. This new wave of men that talk about body count on TikTok, especially the double standard to it, because if a woman sleeps with more than like one person, then oh no, evil. But a guy can sleep with whoever, I guess, because men are dumb, I guess. Elon Musk fans. He's not gonna give you any of his money. If anything, he'll steal your idea and then make money off of it. Besides QAnon? Alright, yeah, you got us there. QAnon is absolutely the worst air quote fan base. Vanity Fair readers. Are they bad? Or rather, should I say, are they common? What song, played during what movie, just did something extra for you? Off the top of my head, Immigrant Song in Thor Ragnarok. When it played in the beginning, I was like, oh, cool, interesting choice. And then at the end, after Thor gets his big revelation about his potential and it kicks back in, it was hype as f***. Still never seen Ragnarok, and no, you can't make me. Stuck in the Middle with You by Steeler's Wheel made an already intense scene scarring in Reservoir Dogs. Freebird will always be an elevated song due to Kingsman. The Fifth Element. When Diva Plavalunga starts to sing the opera song Lucia di la Mirmor, and the camera switches between the performance, the action scenes, and Lilu's pain, just sends thrills through my spine. Impressive how that song can be used to support 3 different moods. Yeah, I know I said a lot of those names wrong. Get over it. Whatever that song from Up was. It's rough, man. Married Life. Saddest song with the saddest animation ever. Just gut-wrenching. Pixar, you need to knock it off. I Need a Hero from Shrek 2 made that scene freaking awesome. Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers in Ghost. Far Over the Misty Mountains Cold from The Hobbit. There is something about that scene. While The Hobbit isn't a great series overall, it just hits. Don't Stop Me Now in Shaun of the Dead. Edgar Wright really knows what he's doing with music. Highway to Hell in Maximum Overdrive. Remember Me. Holy again, Coco just knows how to get ya. You've Got a Friend in Me by Randy Newman in any Toy Story movie. I'm a grown man who bottles my feelings up, but that song is just like a switch flipping, and I get emotional for some reason. You got a friend in me, a boo-ba-doo-doo. You got a friend in me. What is your all-time favorite movie scene? Rogue One, Darth Vader hallway scene. I'll never forget the moment I saw it and how absolutely amazing it was. Shaun of the Dead, the bar scene near the end of the movie. The jukebox is playing Queen's Don't Stop Me Now. All the lights get turned on, zombies are trying to get in, the zombie bar owner comes out from somewhere, and several of the main characters are attacking zombie owner with pool ball cues to the beat of the music. I've seen this movie dozens of times, by far my favorite zombie film, and that scene has me laughing so hard every time. Love it. The Riders of Rohan charge in Lord of the Rings. Into the Spider-Verse, Leap of Faith scene. For me, it was when it was revealed to Miles who the Prowler was. That was harsh. God, so many great moments in Into the Spider-Verse. I'm super excited for the next. First one that comes to mind is the scene in Inglourious Bastards where Christoph Waltz is interrogating the French farmer about the Jews under his floorboards. Or the scene in Bruce Almighty where he's screwing with Steve Carell's news broadcast. Kind of polar opposites on your favorite scenes, but alright. I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger. The ending of The Shawshank Redemption when Red finds and reads Andy's letter. The perfect day scene from Trainspotting. What opinions do you have that you are embarrassed to say? I'm too embarrassed to say. It's alright, Asparagus, we get it. That country music is just as sexual as rap music, they just don't use vulgar language to describe it. I don't think we should waste land on cemeteries. I actually agree with this one, and no, I will not go into detail. I respect military personnel, but every single one I have met are all narcissistic bags. You should not be embarrassed to say it. If they're all like that, maybe we can change them by bullying them. I'm not against the death penalty. I think it's very circumstantial. Dude, I love listening to Carly Rae Jepsen. All of her music is fantastic. Again, do not be embarrassed about that one, my friend. The type of music I like the most is Eurobeat. You like to drive fast, huh? Nickelback isn't terrible, and I like some Justin Bieber songs. I think rich people are pretty awful people in general. Do not be embarrassed about that. That is just factual. unusual. There was only one throne in Game of Thrones, and I find that deceptive. I expected 2 thrones to engage in some manner of game, such as Battleship. I am becoming more and more of a socialist with each passing day. I live in the heart of the US, so I guess it's not really embarrassment so much as it is I don't feel like arguing with everybody. Thankfully, my 2 best friends feel close to or the same as I do, so I at least have someone to talk and rant to. I just think we should do more to help people who need it. Sure, some will take advantage, but nobody takes advantage in the system we have now, right? Sarcasm. Retirement is unrealistic, especially in this day and age. Like, I don't think I'll ever get to that point. If bands were actually what they are named, which one would have the worst shows? Butthole Surfers? Are you kidding me? That sounds awesome. Cannibal Corpse? That's just zombies. Imagine Dragons would be pretty because there just wouldn't be a band there, right? Still better than Imagine Dragons. The Rolling Stones. Everyone in the audience is crushed by large rolling stones. The Killers. Book them with the police and you have a true crime podcast. Puddle of Mud. A puddle of mud is far better than Puddle of Mud. Panic at the Disco. Instead of singing and merriment, you get screaming and people running around the second you walk through the doors to the concert. LOL. I can also imagine people still panicking until they step out of the building. Then they're calm and stone-faced. LOL. Loaded Diaper. That just sounds like one smelly show. Blink 182. They would blink 182 times and walk off the stage. I don't know, it could be fun, maybe. Limp Bizkit. Soggy biscuits do kinda suck. I prefer flaccid pancakes myself. Spinal Tap. Yeah, that one just sounds like a painful experience. Counting Crows. Well, hey, at least you get to do something at the show. The Guess Who. Every time you show up, it's a different band. Now that actually sounds fun. It's kind of like a potluck, so you never know who you're gonna get. In light of recent events, Queen. What, we just get to look at the coffin for like an hour? Korn. I tried it with butter and everything changed. What is the greatest animated series of all time? I don't really know, but Gargoyles was dope as hell. Daria. Hard to find, which is probably why it's not more loved. Used to air on MTV. Witty, fresh, sardonic, but not morose. A show for lovers of dry humor, and although the characters were sometimes caricature-ish, e.g. the teachers, the main cast and many side ones were given rich characterization, and one of the most vibe-accurate portrayals of high school life in the 90s. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's the anime weebs use to bait normal people into becoming weebs. This is true. It's just so good. Please, just watch it. Please. Batman, the animated series. So far, the only good thing DC has managed to do is make really good animated shows. Futurama. I am very nervous for the new season that's going to be happening soon. Samurai Jack. Nothing ever hit as hard before or since. SpongeBob SquarePants. Appeals to all age groups. Memes from the show are on pretty much every corner on the internet. Its first audiences still reference the show to this day and look back fondly on the show. That's a huge impact. Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I never watched it, but it did look really good. Wait, are we talking about the 3D animated one or the 2D animated one? BoJack Horseman. Still haven't watched it because I am not mentally prepared. Simpsons. It's still insane to me that they're still making new episodes. South Park. Again, kinda crazy they're still making stuff with how controversial they've been. What is a strange fear that you actually have? That everyone knows what I'm thinking. Oh, don't worry. We do. Bugs crawling into my ears while I sleep. Oh god, oh, I don't want to think about that. Oh, please don't say that ever again. I don't look into mirrors when it's dark. I guess I understand that? I'm afraid of being accused of a crime I didn't commit. I don't know how to look innocent when I'm actually innocent. I can't swim in the deep end of the pool at night because of sharks. Remember, Glass Shark is there and he's hungry. The fear of staying alive until all of my family is dead. Don't think of it as a fear, more of a spite thing. I'm terrified that my belly button is going to untie. Can that happen? Like, is that a real thing to be worried about? When I look into the sky, I get the irrational fear that gravity will inverse and I'll start falling into the abyss. Random insects pop up where they shouldn't be. I've gotten a little bit over it because when I'm in the pooper, a lot of bugs just kind of walk around and I don't know why. I'm scared of becoming physically disabled, blind, deaf, paralyzed, amputee, any of that. I don't care about dying, but I fear that. Balloons. Just balloons in general or like balloons popping, like bah. The fear of really big pills. Oh, it looks like it's time for somebody to take their hard to swallow pills. Get it? Because the pills are really big, so it's hard hard to swallow. Let's move on. I am afraid of ghosts. Oh, really? You're scared of Casper? Oh, come on. Glitter. I hate how you can't ever get rid of it. It turns my stomach thinking about it, and when I get it on me, I obsess over it, sometimes for days. Even weeks after an exposure to glitter, just even being in the same room, you will find it on you and you won't know how it got there. How did your pet end up with you? For me, I went to go tell my then-to-be roommates at the Humane Society, no, you can't get another dog. But while I was there, because I'm weak, I wanted to walk around and look at some dogs, and then mine ran away from a volunteer, ran straight to me, and I fell in love, and I made a rash decision. It was purchased like an object. Now I feed it and forcibly give it attention, and it really has no choice but to stay with me to survive. My wife said, I either want a kid or a dog. I got bamboozled though, because now we have both. I was dog sitting. His original owner never came back for him. Aw, that's kind of a bummer, but I'm glad you got a new friend out of it. He was the one puppy that could be bothered to wake up while we were there. Then he wandered around getting into things he probably shouldn't have gotten into and generally caused trouble. That's how we knew he was the one. My sister got arrested and I took the cat. LOL. I guess there's a silver lining. Fucker ended up in my parents' backyard and just decided to stick around. I think some animals know that they don't have to pay rent if they just show up. Shelter cat. Loved attention. That is rare to find a cat that actually likes to have a lot of attention. Speaking of pets, I'm gonna go squish my dog's head for a little bit because he's just so adorable. So thank you so much for watching. Once again, my name has been Brandon and I will see you in another one. Bye!